Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Hey!
Anything happened when I was gone?
Hey!
Anything happened?
You were gone?
Where you been?
Touche, Mike.
you been?
Touche. Off grid, on boat.
Nice.
I heard Baker Mayfield got traded.
Yes.
Can we confirm that?
Yes, we can
Mikey
confirm.
McNuggets confirmed?
Yes, and we have Baker comments when you're ready. These are brand new.
Oh, really?
Do we want to just start with them off the top? We want to get to it?
Let's
Do
do
it.
it.
Do it.
Are
Do
these
it.
wait? Are these sound or are these?
No. This is
Tweets,
just a comment he
Instagram?
made to CarolinaPanthers.com. Baker speaks to
Great.
the media for the first time in
Let's hear
Carolina
it.
this afternoon.
Yeah, what do you have to say?
But he did say this to CarolinaPanthers.com. Let's take 6 right there. Quote from Baker. I'm not going to sit here and be a robot and tell you that's not one I've marked on the calendar already. Speaking of week 1 against the Browns. 1, that's not who I am. To me, it's about winning games. Whoever we have marked on the schedule, I'm going to try to win. Obviously, this one has a little more history and personal meaning, but for me, it's about winning and setting the tone for the rest of the year, and however I can help this team do that, I'm going to do. Asked if he was the kind of person who held grudges, Mayfield grinned and said, I try not to.
Try
Laughable.
not to.
Laughable.
That's very on brand for Baker Mayfield,
It
isn't
is.
it?
It
I mean,
is.
that's what we would expect him to say.
Yeah.
I think. That's what I would certainly expect him to say. We remember what he did when Hugh Jackson was on the other sideline after he left the Browns and went to the Bengals.
Yep.
We remember what he did when Oklahoma came to the shoe and the Sooners beat the Buckeyes. The question is, does he have the arsenal to compete with the Browns?
Well, is he going to start for sure? I think he is.
Look,
but
so because I was gone and I
Yeah.
didn't have a chance to comment,
Right.
you set me up perfectly.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is starting for the Carolina Panthers.
probably, but it's not
Period. End of discussion. If he's healthy, he is starting. The competition's
Let's go.
Sam Darnold, right?
Right. I got you. That's
No one here thinks
Hey,
Sam Darnold is going to beat out Baker Mayfield.
But I would not say 100% only if, let's say, he's a disaster in picking up the offense. I think it's a slim chance, but
Yeah.
I'd say if he's healthy, it's 90% he's fine.
I think if he's hurt, obviously.
Yeah, obviously,
But
yeah,
if
yeah.
he's healthy, he is the starter.
Very
I don't
likely,
see
yes.
any
Yeah.
way. If Sam Darnold beats out Baker Mayfield, he's a hell of a lot worse than I thought.
Yeah, you don't make this move for no reason. You don't make this room and
Right.
mess up your whole offense and room and everything like that if you're not going to use the
It's
guy.
the timing. Look at the timing. You bring him in a couple of weeks. He has a press conference. It's about 2 weeks before the season starts. You don't do this if you bringing him in just to hang out and come to practice and eat lunch with the guys. You bring him in because you think you can win.
And
you think he's the best guy for the job.
They added payroll too, right? I mean, the Browns aren't paying his
did.
entire salary.
Nope.
So, granted, he's a bargain for
Getting
the price
a solid
they're
deal.
I think it's a great deal for both teams. Actually, I was surprised that the Browns got what they got for him.
Yeah, I was surprised they were able to get rid of, $8.5 million
$8 million
of cap
in-
space, and they did get a draft pick.
I was stunned by that. I
Yeah.
didn't think that was possible.
Yeah.
No, it looked like
From
they
everything we were hearing, it wasn't possible.
I mean, we were talking about cutting him a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
And they were able to take off $8.5 million and get potentially a 4th-round pick. But Jay, with you coming back here, and obviously, we know you love Baker, but wouldn't it be ironic? Everybody's talking about, Baker's going to be fired up. He wants to win. He wants to win. The Browns have won one opening day game since
I know.
99. One.
Yeah.
I think it was
Not
2004
strong.
against the
Not
Ravens.
strong.
Bad opening.
It's been almost 20 years
Yeah.
since they have won an opener.
Poor percentage.
Wouldn't it be funny if after all the hype for Baker, if the Browns ended that streak by beating Baker in week 1?
Let me
like
tell
it.
you, they will, okay? They will. They'll
Wow.
beat Baker Mayfield. Even with Jacoby Brissett or whomever they decide to put in there at starting quarterback in week 1. Who knows? Maybe it's Deshaun Watson. Doubtful. But whoever the Browns plug in, the Browns will win their opening game this year. With Baker Mayfield on the other side, with a chip on his shoulder the size of Texas.
I like hearing that, even if
Right.
I'm not
I-
convinced.
You know he's going to say something. He's going to talk some trash that week.
He will.
There's no
He will
doubt.
give the Browns bulletin board
Yes,
material
definitely.
because that's who he is.
Yes.
He's trying to say the right things. So we couldn't see Baker's face, right?
Right.
But let me show you what he looked like when he delivered that last line.
Yeah.
Baker, you asked me if I hold grudges.
So Baker, are you hold any grudges against the Browns?
I try not to.
Yes.
That's what he looked like.
Yes, he can't help
That's what he
himself.
looked like.
He can't help himself.
And that was part of the problem, was that he couldn't help himself.
Right.
That was
Help
part of the problem
himself,
with him here on the Browns.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
he couldn't give a straight face and just be like, that's not my business. I'm not, I'm here to win football games. I don't want to talk about the past. He always has to go, Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. The little wink in the nose.
He has to.
So
That's
I think that they're going to win because the quarterback is the most important position in sports. Agreed?
No doubt.
No sign?
Yeah.
But you still have to have a great supporting cast. And he has bits and pieces of a team around him, but he doesn't have what the Browns have.
If Baker Mayfield plays that game, he has a 50-50 shot of winning.
Wow.
I'm going to let you know that right now.
Okay.
The Browns are a 1-point favorite as of now.
As of now.
I'm going to let you know right now, he got a
50-50.
50-50 shot. If it's against Jacoby Brissett, let me tell you about this. You say everybody say what they want about Baker Mayfield. I watched him against teams he had no business beating, ball out when all the chips seemed to be down. We always talk about the Bengals games. He beat the Bengals twice handedly, right? I look at a game against the Tennessee Titans where it was like, wow, the Browns could get 11 wins and not make the playoffs. Tennessee was right there in the pecking order. Browns came into Tennessee and smoked them. 2, I seen them do it in college. I saw him go into the horseshoe, and they had a crazy defense for Ohio State, and he just spread the ball all over the park to no-name gangsters, and they caught the ball, and they scored touchdowns. I'm telling you, it's a 50-50 proposition if Jacoby Brissett is there because he's going to have all the magic work in that first game. I'm going to let you know that.
If Carolina's offensive line doesn't improve from last year, he has a 50% chance of dying in the first 4 games.
I think that's an important
No,
thing
that
to
is
note
the
here.
point.
It is
And
true.
I
That's a great
think
point.
Carolina's a better team than we're giving them credit for.
Yes.
They're a decent team, but the Browns are way more talented. And you just mentioned the most important thing. You know, we talk about offensive line a lot, and it's more important when you have a quarterback that doesn't have great athleticism, right? Or is not a big, strong guy. Like Ben Roethlisberger's not a great athlete, but he's a big, strong guy. So when they would have bad offensive lines from time to time, it wasn't as big a factor. Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times, and they still beat Tennessee because he's a great athlete and he's able to overcome. Baker is not able to overcome a bad offensive line.
Right.
We've seen that here in Cleveland. When the offensive line doesn't play well, he doesn't play well. It's that simple. And Carolina addressed the position in the offseason,
Hopefully
but they
works.
addressed it with young guys. So you never know. It wasn't like the Bengals signed 3 veteran offensive linemen, so you have a better feel for how good those guys are.
Sure, they
played the
played.
league.
We've seen them.
The Panthers addressed it mostly. They did bring in 1 veteran, but they had a terrible offensive line. Now, the defense is solid, and you'd assume for week 1 at least, Christian McCaffrey, who's been hurt a lot the last couple of years, will be healthy in week 1.
At least for the start of the game.
Exactly.
Whether or not he'll be there for the second half
So
is
there's
up for debate.
decent talent around them, but ultimately without the offensive line, it's going to be a big problem.
So let's do this. You said 50-50 shot of winning.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's much higher than I thought you would say.
50-50.
Let's do this. 0 to 100 on the worry meter. 0 is you're not even blinking. You're not even thinking about it. 100, you can't sleep the night before. Where are you on the worry meter coming into the Browns-Panthers a couple of months in advance?
33.
33.
Yes.
All right, that's an interesting number.
1 and 3.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not. I would say I don't worry about this stuff. I got to tell you the truth. I'm not worried at all. I mean, even if the worst case scenario is if he wins, I'm so broken inside from this team over the years that I'll just be like, well, that's a new one to throw on the pile.
Well, don't you almost expect
I
for
do.
that?
So if
isn't
it
that like
doesn't
the
happen-
next chapter of the
Browns
already
fans scarring.
pre-written
But
if
Browns
it doesn't happen,
future?
I'm also open to Bull's possibility that maybe this is the thing that breaks that spell of the first game, losing the first game all the
Yes.
time. And if that happened, I'd be pleasantly surprised and also not shocked one way or the other.
The only reason I'm at 33 and not 0 is because I will have so much anxiety about wanting Baker to lose and the Browns
Yes.
to kick his ass.
You've had a
because
lot-
I'll be so excited that Monday to just go nuts
you
about
have
That's
it.
why I
more on
thought
the
you'd
line.
be higher on the worry meter.
You have a lot more on the line because you've been crapping on Baker for so
You
long.
not only
God.
have all your chips in the middle of the
Oh,
table,
yeah.
you have all your clothes,
Everything.
You have all your money,
My
you have
car,
your
my house.
reputation,
Yep.
you have everything in the
Jason
middle of the
Lloyd's
table.
car. Right? He put
So
in
I
there.
thought
of it.
on the worry
All of
meter
it.
alone, I thought you'd be like, hell, if they lose this, I'm done.
No,
Yeah.
I'm confident about it, but
Okay.
I will be anxious to
Yeah.
I'll be so excited to come on the air that Monday if they
Could
beat
you-
them.
What would the bet have been?
Yeah.
After the Browns almost beat Kansas City, which in calendar time was just barely over a year and a half ago.
Right.
What would the odds have been at that time, right
Yeah.
after that game, if someone said, hey, the season opener, not this coming season opener, but the next one, the Browns will end their long-standing drought of losing games on opening day, and they'll do it against Baker Mayfield.
Million
no
to
one
one.
would have touched that
Million
bet.
to one.
No one would have touched
Now,
that
it's a
bet.
great storyline, though.
It's a Cleveland story.
It
Oh
is.
my
My
God.
worry meter, I'm going to tell you right now, my worry meter is 65%, 70%. You know why? I don't believe in the wishing on a star and maybe we'll end the curse. My coach used to always say this and when you play for a MAC school. As a MAC school, when you're going to play Ohio State, what you want to do is catch them slipping. First week, the offense ain't going to be there. They'll have a couple of turnovers.
Sure.
You punch it in.
They're overlooking you.
They're overlooking you. You punch it in, and there's a couple times we won those games. We won against Iowa State. We won against Minnesota, right? But then also flip side, if you are a MAC school, you play 1AA teams.
Yeah.
And we got Northern Iowa one year, and they came in and beat the brakes off of us. I mean, running the ball, everything they did was working. We couldn't stop nothing they ran. And so I look at it from a pragmatic standpoint. The Browns got a new quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. He's a backup. If you talk about winning the competition between Baker and Jacoby, they already got that matchup down. They already got that. 2, Christian McCaffrey will be ready to go. It's the first game. All you got to do is get him involved, right? You on the road already. And then 3, you look at this situation where it comes down to your defense, because to be truthful, on offense, the Panthers are not bad, and Baker Mayfield's going to be super over-the-top confident, and plus, you don't know what wrinkles they're going to put in. You don't know what they're going to run. It might not even be Stefanski's playbook. We done seen Baker under center running play action. They can come out, and you have no tendencies for that. So when you look at it, the teams get better. The most promise and the most progress you get is from week 1 to week 2. Week 1 is a crapshoot, and I don't like a crapshoot with somebody with an axe to grind and they already went in the quarterback.
I got to tell you,
matchup.
you're killing me right now.
That's well
your
said,
negativity.
though. He makes a lot of great points.
No, it makes no sense whatsoever, and
yes,
here's
it
why.
does.
You
It really
can't-
does, Bull.
The Browns and the Panthers, you can't compare them to Northern Iowa or Ohio State and one of these other teams.
Why
The
not?
Browns ain't taking anybody lightly. They want to kick Baker Mayfield's ass.
Well, the Browns.
He may be pumped up, but they're going to be pumped up too.
Hey, well, here's the thing. You got pumped up is great. How you going to execute? We still don't know who the quarterback
Listen,
is
I
and
hear
who
you.
getting the reps.
Jacoby Brissett is not as good as Baker. Fine,
There you
I give
go.
it to you.
On the road.
But for Baker, it's going to be his first game on a new team, same as Brissett. And Brissett's a veteran in the league. He's played as much as Baker has. He's been in the league a lot longer. You say, well, they're going to give it to Christian McCaffrey. Well, the Browns are going to do the same thing, except they got 2 guys who are better, or are just as good, if not better, than Christian
That's-
McCaffrey.
you just mentioned
okay?
that.
They're
Even
going to
at
run the ball, they're going to play defense, and they're going to kick the Carolina Panthers' ass.
Even if you run the ball, Christian McCaffrey is just as dynamic as the 2 backs we got. I'm sitting here, I'm not going to say the Browns is going to take an L, but I'm going to let you know, every coach in that locker room is telling them, listen, you better become ready to play.
But why would they not, though?
I could also, though, see this going in the way that you talked about, like a Big Ten school against a MAC school, but those games usually go like this, even when they get freaked out a little bit. Like your Eastern Michigan will somehow hang with Ohio State for the first half for a little bit, and everybody's like, whoa, could be an upset. And then what happens in the second half?
Talent
they get run
takes
out of the
over.
building. Talent takes over. And
Usually.
Browns have more talent,
Yeah.
usually.
Usually.
And Baker falls apart like he does in the fourth quarter oftentimes.
Yeah!
So I like
So
the odds.
what you're hoping for as a Browns fan is a close game in the fourth quarter. Baker will throw an interception. He'll do something late.
Right.
I prefer for it to spread apart a little bit earlier than that.
You mentioned big
no
wins for
chance.
Baker. I mean, besides that, the one win over the Bengals last year, and the win over the Titans that you mentioned from 2 years ago. Like, where is his quality wins against good competition?
Well, see, the thing about Baker is
He didn't won a lot of big games or in the big moments.
His skill set and what he is as a quarterback over a sustained period of time is not sustainable because
Agreed.
he's inconsistent. But if it's spot plays or spot games or spot
We know how good he
opportunities,
can be.
He can be.
The thing with Baker is the range
Agreed.
is so
Going.
wide.
Agreed, but I don't think it's that likely. I think he's going to be overpumped for this game, and it's his first game with a new team and all new players. He hasn't played with most of those guys. He has a few guys there that he's played with, but I just don't buy that he's just going to. That first game is the most likely to be his best game.
Well, let me ask you this: I haven't seen when Baker is all the way down or is pegged as like a marquee game, like all in. I haven't seen him play bad in those types of games. The games where he doesn't have any sort of motivation or it's just like, I got to go out here and beat the Steelers or I just got to go out here and beat the Lions or Eagles. Yeah, he can play bad in those games, but when it's build, Baker Mayfield is pumped up, ready to go. I have
What
not
are the
seen
examples of that? How many games?
I just gave you 3. I gave you the Bengals twice. I gave you the
Bengals twice when?
The year before when OBJ got hurt, he came.
I know, but that was a bad Bengals team. That's not against that team was bad.
He came back this year and did the same thing
Against a team that went to the
No,
Super
I
Bowl.
hear you. I give him credit for his win over them this
Bull,
year.
Bull, I don't think we should discount the 2 wins against the Steelers at the end of the 21 regular season,
the
and then
Steelers
the
were playing
playoff.
backups that game.
They were a playoff team, though, and we beat them
No, I
in
give
the
them
playoffs.
credit for the playoff win, but
Okay.
not the last regular season because the Steelers weren't playing anybody.
But it was
that
still
year.
a must-win for the Browns. There was all kinds of pressure on Baker Mayfield to perform.
Agreed, but there's been a lot of other times where he's had pressure and he has failed.
Yeah,
much
Green
more
Bay
often.
this year. I thought, you mentioned when has there been a lot of pressure on him where he failed? The Green Bay game this past season was absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he was throwing to the other team.
That was after he was. I sound like a Baker bro here. That was after
Here
he
it
was hurt,
comes.
right?
Oh my God!
It wasn't as if like he was balling and then all the season was on the line and then he threw 4 picks against the Packers.
No, but the playoffs were still on the line.
Yes,
They were in
The
that
playoffs
game.
were on the line.
Yes.
But he hadn't played well throughout that part. He hasn't played well throughout the whole time. He didn't play the game before that. I'll actually, and here's the thing for me, if you said this game totally, if everything is equal, we'd rather see Sam Darnold playing than Baker. Like nobody would say who you want, who you more confident about.
No, that's simple. Yeah.
well,
super
as a
simple.
Browns fan, I would much
wanna
rather
see,
Sam
I
Darnold
want to see
start.
Baker play because I want that story, but I obviously I agree. But so what? Sam Darnold sucks. I mean, that's like the
Well, let's do this.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking over the week
Yeah.
how we characterize this. The national media is going to chew on this forever.
Yes.
They love this game.
Yes,
They do.
100%.
National audience, no question.
Yeah.
Would you, because this is the way I parsed it out. This is the perfect scenario for Baker Mayfield
Yep.
and the absolute last scenario the Browns would want
Worse.
in week 1.
Worse.
Would you agree with that? Because do you remember before the
Because
schedule
Watson's
came
not
out?
gonna play?
No. Well, for
Yeah.
a myriad of reasons. Before the schedule came out, and we said, "What's your dream matchup for week
Right,
1?"
yeah.
And I gave a dream matchup and a nightmare
I was the
matchup,
same.
and they were both the
Right,
same.
right.
And I think for the Browns, this is their nightmare matchup.
If the team,
Again, I still think they're going to win the game.
Right.
But Bull,
It's
if
a
they
dangerous one.
start the season, remember this
Yeah.
one's already in the bank. As Browns fans, our little exercise,
Right.
well, we're 3-0 going
Right,
into
right.
Pittsburgh.
Right.
So
I think it's one of the worst teams on the schedule. I don't think
I know.
Mayfield changes the needle enough. I would want to play him, and I
But
would
what
want
I'm
to kick
saying
his
is,
ass.
Bull,
Yeah.
in terms of best scenario and worst scenario,
Yeah.
what does Baker Mayfield want to do more than anything else right now?
smite his enemies.
Yeah.
Prove the Browns wrong.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
He gets the chance to do that in week 1.
Yeah, I would much rather be playing the Panthers than the Bengals in week 1, than the Ravens in week 1, than a lot of the other good teams on their schedule.
Or Baker
So you
on a
don't think
better
this
team.
is the nightmare scenario for
No,
the
I
Browns?
mean, I guess if I had to rank the 17 games, which one I'd have first, I guess this wouldn't be number 1, but it would be top 5 because it's one of the worst teams you're playing. I fear Baker none at all. Otherwise, I wouldn't be pushing him to have him out of here. I
you
can't
fear him
worry
33
about it.
out of 100.
Yes,
And you're worried
and that's
about
just because it's not. I shouldn't even say worry. It's more excitement about being able to crush him the next day. But but the thing is, like I just in the end, even if they did lose this game and the Baker Bros got to pump their fists and the national media got to make fun of the Browns. If Deshaun Watson comes back this year and the Panthers finish 7 and not 10, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and the Browns win 10 games and go to the playoffs, no one's going to give a crap that they lost that game, and it's going to be completely meaningless in the end. That's not the end of the season, even if they lose it.
Right, but we won't know how that plays
In
out
that
until week
moment,
17.
yeah, it's going to be a huge deal.
Nuggets, you got something?
What do you got?
Yeah, Jay, you weren't here this week, so I want to ask you this question before we move on to
Sure.
our next topic. Is week 1 now a must-win for the Browns?
Oh, Lord.
It is, absolutely. I mean, but here's what I always say. I laugh at that question. Every week is a must-win.
It's the NFL.
Every week in the NFL. We used to do this all the time in debate circles.
Sure.
Is this a must-win?
Right.
There's only one true must-win. Is it an elimination game?
Yes.
So if you're asking that in any other time,
Yeah.
it's an absurd question.
Of course.
But the way I've been told by players and coaches when they've been asked this question, and I've tried to never ask that question, they always want to answer the question this way, but they don't. They always say, what the hell game on our schedule is we'd like to win this one?
Yeah, right.
They're all must-wins. You face
Yeah.
when you come into the season, the idea is to win every week.
There's only 17 of them. It's
And
not
you're
baseball.
not going to, but because it's week 1, there's added importance. But I'll say this, they all count the same.
That's right.
They all count the same. Now, granted, in the division, you can help yourself more, but you still get credit for one win.
Right.
Now, it helps that you're giving the teams you're chasing a loss, but so is it a must-win?
Sure it is.
Yeah, you better win it.
You know,
Well, Tim Couch said yesterday, though, I think Bull asked him, or no, it was Brad, about playing guys that you don't particularly like, former teammates you don't like. And Tim said it really eloquently, like, yeah, there's a little extra to it when
No
you're playing
question.
guys like that. And the last thing he would want to do if he was Baker was piss
Do we
off
think
Myles
that
Garrett.
Baker doesn't like players on the other side, or do we, I think he just doesn't
I don't
like
think he was
the
saying
franchise?
it wasn't that,
And
but
do
there
we-
are certainly guys in the locker room who didn't like Baker. It's not 100% on either way, like him or
Yeah.
not, but there are
Man,
certain guys who are
man,
definitely.
Well, I
looking
think
to
you're
get
going
a
to find
shot
that
at
in
Baker.
any team in the NFL.
Let me tell you-
There's going to be guys on every team in the NFL that can't stand the quarterback.
See, I know this personality type. He don't like none of them. He want to see everything burn.
He does it now.
He don't. You know what he's saying? This is how maniacal he is, and this is why people like him. If you are op, I don't mess with you. Even if I used to wear them same colors, because you left me for dead. How many times did we say this too? Where's all these people coming to his aid? Where the people that saying Baker did this? You don't think his wife is telling him as they go to sleep at night, you better remember this.
Well, he has had some guys that have come out. Batonio said great things. Nick Chubb said great things.
And then he rationalizes it like Jordan says,
Yeah.
they was too late. They
Yeah.
could have been earlier.
Yeah.
You
Well,
should have
they
been.
were saying
That
that
was
even
before
the
the trade.
though.
Those two guys.
you
So
got-
The only
they were
one that
saying
I've
that
seen
before the
anything
trade.
since the trade is Wyatt Teller.
He don't like nobody.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think not, especially Emily. I know how that
Oh,
thing's
yeah,
turning.
Yeah.
She's going to manipulate him.
He's- now.
He's got 53 voodoo dolls
Yeah.
of the Browns, of their final roster. And
Yeah.
the last thing he's going to do Saturday night before he goes to bed is to stick a pin in all
It is a
53
good point, though.
of
For
them.
somebody who didn't really do anything terrible to his teammates or anything, it is weird that people didn't come out and at least tweet out and say, "Good luck to my brother.
Yeah.
Have fun
They
out
did
there.
it when
We wish
Odell
you luck."
was gone.
They
Exactly.
sure
They
did.
did it for him.
They
So, like,
sure did.
as far, but we haven't heard anything that would have earned that level of
No,
ire
I don't think.
in the
I
locker
don't
room.
think that many guys hate. I don't think there's a lot of guys that hate him.
I mean,
think
listen,
I think there's a
Aditi
few
knows
guys
the,
on the
the
defense.
inner workings of the locker room, and she said he is well liked.
Definitely
by
on the
that team.
offensive
Yeah.
side.
And I
he's
think he
liked.
is
There's no
too.
doubt.
You know, he's the kind of guy. I remember there was a lot of talk in his Heisman season that he would be the number one pick and the Browns
Right.
would have the number, because that's just the way things were trending, even though it was early in the year. And I had a lot of people ask me at the time, "Do you want this guy?" And my answer was very simple. I'd rather he be on my team than against my team. I hated what he did with Oklahoma. In the heat of that moment, I said, the Browns better never draft that punk. Of
course.
Because that's exactly what he is. He is a punk. And then when they drafted him, I'm like,
Well, at least he's
okay.
on our-
I like his
he's on our
moxie.
team.
I like his moxie.
And I know,
Now-
and I know it was college. But if y'all want to just refresh your memory,
I don't care.
that dude came.
I don't care about college.
He came there and he sprinkled the ball all around the
did.
field.
Tim Tebow, the best college quarterback.
I mean, he's better than Tebow. I mean, but
know
we
he's
know
better
that.
than Tebow,
But
but-
I'll say this: the reason why it's a must-win is because this is boiling down to Baker versus Fansky. If Baker Mayfield,
Right, but in the end, what's going to matter is the records in the end,
wait,
not the
but,
one game.
But hold on.
Yeah.
G. Bush is on to
Go
something.
ahead, go ahead.
Finish
Now,
your point.
I looked at a picture and 4 people was gone: Hooper, Jarvis Landry, OBJ, and your boy Baker. 4 people just 1 year ago today. It's funny how time works. And it's funny how you got security from 1 year to the other until you don't. If Baker comes in here and he puts points all over the Cleveland Browns, you know what they're going to say? They ain't going to say nothing about the defense. They're going to say, why couldn't you do that with Baker Mayfield? And he just proved you was the
You're
weakest link.
right. That'll be prisoner of the moment. That'll be wrong. And it will only stand up if he does it for the whole season, not just one game. Sam Darnold, through 2 weeks, was one of the highest-rated quarterbacks in the NFL last year. Go back and check it out. And then he sucked. By the way, do you watch The Boys? Does anybody watch The Boys?
I
on
haven't
Amazon?
yet.
No.
I'm supposed to.
Gotta watch that show.
All right.
What's the matter with you?
I'll watch
For
it.
those who do watch The Boys, Emily Mayfield is like the Deep's wife. You know what I'm talking about if you watch that show. By the way, Baker, here's the bottom line on Baker. He's one of the poorest athletes at quarterback in the league. Is that fair?
What do you mean, like money-wise?
No, he's saying athletic skills. He's saying, you just said that, here's what you meant to say.
right.
Yeah.
He's the worst quarterback. He's the worst athlete at quarterback in the NFL.
One of the worst, right?
See, I would disagree with that.
I would do- he's
I would
middle of the
disagree
road.
with
You
that.
don't middle of the road.
Yeah.
He's middle of the road.
I've
He's-
seen-
Middle of the road.
I don't know.
He's better. He's a better athlete. He's a better athlete than Teddy Bridgewater. He's a better athlete than Sam Darnold.
Those guys are not starters. I'm talking about starters in the league.
Well, he's not a. He's not a.
Who's the
stiff.
quarterback
When I
under?
watched Bernie Kosar, I said, "Poor
That's-
Bernie. That
that-
guy's not an
name-
athlete."
name-
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino is not an athlete.
Name me a quarterback under 30 that's a worse athlete than him.
Well, look, give me the list. I'll look at him and I'll say I'll take Baker's athletic skills over this one. I'll take his athletic
What
skills
about-
over that one.
You guys can't name one guy?
Bull, he's not a bad athlete.
How about Zach Wilson? I'm not impressed by him. Are you impressed by Zach Wilson?
We're going to talk about Zach Wilson in a little bit.
Jimmy G, he's not
under 30, I don't think, is he?
He is 30.
Bull, I don't characterize him as a bad athlete. Does anybody here?
I look at him as a bad athlete as a quarterback. He's in terms of physical characteristics and height amongst the bottom of the league, right? He is one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. He has the most turnovers in the NFL in the last 4 years and the second most picks. So what's he good at that I got to be worried about?
But when
he has a couple of good moments.
When he gets hot, he gets hot.
And you know what I could totally see happening? I could see him beating us in week 1. I could see that happening totally. But then I would see him, that'd be the peak of his season.
Right.
Then he gets either dinged up or something like that and just kind of plummets and probably isn't starting by middle of the season. That is a storyline I can totally see happening.
Yeah.
He kills
You're
us.
too scarred as a Browns fan.
Absolutely.
And
I admit it. I'm traumatized.
And Mike, we feel great about this if we was playing them week 8.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We like, we got all the
because
film.
by then, Watson could be back, number one. Number two, we're going to bring out a Jacoby Brissett to play quarterback, and he hasn't played a meaningful football game since when? Do you even know?
Not in Miami. Not all last year.
All last year he did not. So I don't know.
so
I mean,
2
you got to go
years.
back to Indy, right? So, I mean, it's kind of like Deshaun Watson. What are we going to see when we finally get him?
You guys are too worried.
But we got plenty of time to talk about it throughout the season.
Yeah,
this is the biggest. This is the biggest game.
Bush.
There will
This
be
is the
no
biggest
meat
game.
left on that bone
None.
by September 11th. None.
Good.
All right, let's talk about quarterback rankings.
Well, yeah.
And ESPN ranks them, so is there any dispute? Is there any dispute?
This isn't it. I thought this was a polling of executives in the and coaches in the
So
NFL.
did I. Players.
that the
I
case,
thought it was
Mike?
players and
So
executives.
ESPN conducted the poll.
Yeah, ESPN
So it's not
conducted the
per
survey.
ESPN.
And it's
No.
not idiot
So
fans.
it's an ESPN
ESPN
survey
sourcing.
of general manager or executives.
Executives,
Okay.
coaches,
Okay.
and stuff like
Scouts,
that.
player personnel, executives, and front office.
I have to
people.
say,
I like that the fans aren't involved. That's all I care about.
when I looked at the list, I would move a couple in the top 5.
Yeah.
They nailed my top 5. I actually thought that this was really accurate. I told you guys before I went on vacation, I had Deshaun Watson in the top 10, but not by a lot because we hadn't seen him. And we know that and we don't know what we're going to get when we do see him. So based on what we know now, that I can't find
Can
any
Lamar
fault with that.
Jackson sneak
Although
in
I
there
would
somewhere?
put Brady
No.
up. I would put
And
Brady
by the
up
way,
spot.
let me rant about this for a minute.
Go ahead.
Because everybody is doing what Mike did, and I'm glad you did that.
I'm glad to help out.
Nobody, I love Lamar Jackson. I hate the Ravens. Hate every player on the Ravens except for Lamar Jackson. He has won me 2 fantasy football championships in the last 4 years. I've had him on my keeper league team for 4 years. He puts up huge numbers. But people have gone out of their mind with Lamar Jackson like he's being aggrieved because the Ravens haven't signed him yet. If I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I am not giving Lamar Jackson a long-term deal. Not yet. I want to see it for one more year. He's been inconsistent. Everybody thinks because he won the MVP in 2019, which he probably shouldn't have won, but he was great that year.
Yeah.
That like he's infallible and can't be criticized. He was okay in 2020, and he was awful last year.
He was bad last
He was
year.
as bad as Baker. And I don't want to hear injuries because I don't want to hear it from Baker, so I don't want to hear it from Lamar. Lamar was terrible last year.
I just thought he might
was
edge out
awful.
Justin Herbert or something like that.
Justin Herbert there's not a team in the league besides maybe the Ravens that would take Lamar Jackson over Justin Herbert. I don't think there's a team in the league.
I was going to say on my list, I would have Herbert in my top 5. I would have Brady up a little higher than ESPN did. They had Brady at 4.
Yeah.
I would still have him up higher. I saw him do. He had one of his best years ever last year.
I think Brady
So
should have won the MVP again last year.
I would have given him the MVP
Yeah.
over Rodgers, who had a great year. But
Yeah.
I don't think Herbert's got the love that he deserves. His coach hurt him mightily last year with some terrible decisions that kept his team out of the playoffs. We remember the last game of the year, some of the decisions that he made. Everybody in the league was saying, wait, this guy was supposed to be a coaching savant. He literally single-handedly kept the Chargers from going to the playoffs. I think Herbert is going to be, not that he's a breakout player, because I think he already had that year.
No.
I think at the next year at this time, everybody's going to be talking about Justin Herbert.
Anybody there taking a step back on that list? Anybody like that you could see on that top 10?
Let me see the bottom 6
like
through
the-
10 again.
Anybody
Here's
like
1 through 5.
Yeah, I would just put Brady up a
put-
little bit and probably Allen below Brady. And I would put Burrow at 6 and I would put Herbert above him.
You can't put Herbert ahead of Burrow.
I can. I just think he's better. I just think he's better.
Even if you think he's better, it can't be by much. And
No, it's not.
Burrow's accomplished
Listen,
more.
We're splitting
and
hairs
that's why
here.
I can't move Herbert and Watson, even though I think Herbert and Watson are as talented as the guy in the top 5. They've accomplished nothing in the playoffs.
I
so
wouldn't have
can't
Russell
put
Wilson
them
at
higher.
8 either, by the way.
But
I would have Russell lower. And I wouldn't have Dak Prescott in the top 10.
I would put Lamar Jackson at 10. I would have Lamar Jackson at 10.
Dak Prescott's better than Lamar Jackson, I think. I don't even think it's that close.
I mean, Dak Prescott. If you say it's about winning stuff, he ain't won nothing.
Well, Lamar ain't won nothing either.
I mean, he's won an MVP.
I do think
let's not just act like he didn't win no MVP.
He
That's
did.
huge.
I hear you.
Do you know how many Hall of Fame quarterbacks don't even get to even be mentioned on that level as MVP? And he is the Ravens' whole entire offense, not a piece.
Why did his best wide receiver want to leave?
Hey, that's on Hollywood Brown. He's not that good either. So, he want the ball more. They run the ball.
But
the
why?
Ravens are a running team.
They shouldn't have been last year. They had no running backs.
Oh, well, listen, if Lamar Jackson was out how many games? 9?
Guys, I think next year is a referendum on Lamar Jackson
It
as
100%
much as
is.
anybody in
Right.
the league, because he needs his genius credentials renewed. And I don't know, was last year more a product of him being dinged, or was it a product of the league figuring out what he does?
Right.
Because let's face it, the league always catches up to the superstar gifted player. They always catch up to them. Always.
And Lamar's been awful in the postseason in his 4 games.
He has been very bad in big moments. I'll give you that.
I think we're burying the lead, though. How did they determine where to put Deshaun Watson in this, based on his availability, based on how long it's been since
I'm
he
glad
played?
you asked, Folk, because we have 2 quotes from executives who were mentioned in the article. And Jay, if you want to read these, let's take them real quick.
Yeah.
They kind of hit on where Watson ranks and how difficult it was to rank him.
Yeah,
Jay,
and we
take
don't know. It's unnamed, obviously, but there's no question about the ability. I'm assuming he stayed in shape, and we've seen him. He's in shape. There's no question.
Yeah.
I have little concern that he can come back and be an elite player. I just don't know when he's going to play again.
I think that's Sashi
one
Brown.
scout at least, is using his uncertainty as one of the criterion when he's ranking Deshaun Watson.
You could do it however you want.
And this one, too, all I know is that when he had his best NFL season in 2020, his team still went 4-12, and that's a point that I've made a lot. A good quarterback, but he still has a lot to show on the field.
You got to look at the 4-12 season. I had John Costco from Pro Football Focus on. He said, when you look at what they did in that year, Deshaun Watson rated is a top 3 player. We had him actually at the end of the year the highest rated quarterback.
Pro Football Focus.
Pro Football Focus,
number
highest, number 1. And you take a look at it.
The year they went 4-12.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No
I have a
offensive
huge
line,
dispute with that.
no offensive line, no running game to speak about, and this is the year. No receivers. They trade his best receiver.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got to take some blame for 4 wins. You got to get some blame for that.
Yeah, I mean, you get some blame.
some.
You get a lot of
Brady gets credit for
you get a lot of blame.
But
If you're going to credit a quarterback a lot for going 12-4,
right? Which he did the 2 years before that, or 11-5 and 12-4.
I mean, that's a huge disparity.
He put up tremendous numbers. He put up, and I know numbers.
He has more to
everything.
prove. There's no doubt. He hasn't done anything in the playoffs.
That's why I have him at 9.
That's why he's lower, and that's why I would have Herbert
10.
and Watson 6-7 for me, because the top 5 guys have all done it in the playoffs. The top 5 guys have all been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
right?
that's why Lamar Jackson, for me, couldn't sniff the top 5.
But
Deshaun Watson either.
that's why I would put Herbert 6 and Watson 7, and then.
But my problem is this too. We give Aaron Rodgers the biggest pass of.
Oh yeah.
Why is he number 1?
He shouldn't be.
This guy has collapsed down the stretch multiple times.
He has.
You lost to Jimmy G at home. Like what do you like?
And after scoring an early
And Jimmy
touchdown,
G
they
didn't
did
even do
nothing.
anything. He had a terrible game.
No, they had a special teams punt block that went for a touchdown, and that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, there's no.
But Aaron Rodgers did not rise to the MVP caliber player that he's supposed to be in that game.
The year before.
Certainly not.
You're on the goal line. You could walk in the end zone. Your team goes to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
You looking around, patting the football. What are you doing, Aaron Rodgers? And by the way, we give Peyton Manning all the grief in the world. We give him a bunch of grief, both the Mannings. But this man, Aaron Rodgers, has 1 bowl. With all that talent,
Yeah.
With the best receiver in Devontae Adams, with Aaron Jones, a nice running back. Come on, man. You should at least have all the greats, the Elways, the Bradys, the Mannings, they just consistently keep doing it. And even Eli got 2 wins. Come on now. That one win.
Even Eli.
Poor
Poor Eli.
I know.
Eli's 2-time Super Bowl
Got
MVP.
2 Super Bowl
Those Super Bowl
championships.
wins were because of Eli Manning.
You know what's incredible, too, is I don't think he's ever won a playoff game besides those 2 years. I think he has 0
it?
playoff
I think I
wins.
remember hearing that
Is
one
that
other
true?
time, too.
I'm pretty sure. We can double check it, but I'm
It's
pretty
stunning.
You
sure.
talking about Eli Manning?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which stunning.
No, he's the greatest 2 stretches, or not maybe the greatest, but 2 of the greatest stretches ever outside of those 2 years.
Yeah.
And I love Eli. I will die on a hill for Eli. He's my hero. He was terrible outside of those 2
Dying on
Yeah.
a hill's pretty drastic.
For Eli
Very,
Manning?
especially
I love Eli.
given the context in which people talk about it.
Even crazier than Eli is the year the Ravens won the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. Remember how well he played that year? His numbers that postseason were absurd. And
Yeah.
he's a much worse quarterback than Eli.
Yeah, he hit it at the right time.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question, though, to get us a little bit back on track.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson hasn't played since 2020.
Right.
The reality is we don't know exactly what quarterback we're going to see whenever Watson steps onto the field for
Very
the Browns.
true.
So let me ask this to you guys.
I don't agree
Is
with
it-
you, by the way. He's missed 1 year. People keep saying, it's been 2 years.
Well, when he
Other
steps
people
on a
have missed
football
1
field
year.
again, not counting the preseason, when
Yeah.
he comes back to the football field,
Yeah.
it will likely be in early November. That will be almost 2 full years that elapsed from his last snap.
So my
So it's
question,
not.
though, is...
I mean, I know you're saying it's
Yeah,
just one
well,
season.
we don't know. If he ends up getting suspended for 8 games or 16, okay,
I'm
maybe.
giving
but
him 8 games because I think that's
I
the
just don't. I
conventional
think
wisdom.
he's young enough.
But that gets him back in November Bowl, and he played last in
Agreed.
December of 20.
Agreed. And he might be rusty when he comes back, but there's no reason to believe he won't eventually
No,
be
that's
elite
not
again.
fair.
He's
But
young
the
enough.
question
Eventually.
is he hasn't played since the end of the 2020 season.
Right.
They're making a ranking before the year looking ahead. Is it fair to rank him in the top 10 when we haven't seen him play in 18, 19, 20 months, whatever it ends up being?
It
So
is.
that's the question I want to ask you guys.
You rank it based. Everybody's got their own criteria of how you do it. You know, if it's so obviously they're not. You know, if they weren't factoring that in, I think he'd be higher.
Thank you. If they didn't factor in he sat out a year, he's top 5.
Well, yeah, but if this was 2021,
Yeah.
of course, because now you're looking at what he did in 2020, and you're saying,
Yeah.
this guy's. I still don't have him as top 5 because, to your point, I want my top 5 guys to have been to a Super Bowl and to won a Super Bowl. I just do because there's enough guys in the league that have done it. So if you're going to look at it from that standpoint alone, and it's about the Bulls and Aaron Rodgers is getting grief because he's just been to one and won one, I still want, if we're talking top 5 now, I just want I'm going to give you 5 guys that have been to the Super Bowl, some multiple times, and won.
It's very
and he's
different.
not in that list.
It's hard when you got Brady, GOAT, then you got Joe Burrow, who just went to the Super Bowl in 2 years with a team that wasn't that good, like in certain positions. Mahomes, who is just ridiculous.
Russell's been to 1 and 1-1.
And you talk Josh Allen.
Well, Josh Allen hasn't been. We have him in the top 5 years.
But Josh
Not
Allen.
his fault, but
Josh Allen is so. You see, people don't understand. He's like a freight train running away and can throw the ball through a brick wall.
Horrifying.
It's crazy.
It is.
He's horrifying.
Because he's a nightmare to try to defend.
It's
He'll
crazy.
run and he'll run over you.
Yes.
And he'll throw the ball with as much precision downfield as anybody in the league.
So he's as talented as they come. It just goes to show you. We always go back to this, and I can't refute it, but we just go back to how doggone many good quarterbacks is just in the AFC.
especially the AFC.
And how good you have to be in order to win a Super Bowl.
And that's why I wonder if we were having this conversation and Deshaun Watson had never been mentioned as a potential Browns quarterback, how many Browns fans would still be arguing that Deshaun Watson deserves to be a top 5?
Nobody.
Or even a top nobody.
Right.
But now that he's ours, we want to prop him up
That's a
and
good
make
point.
him better than perhaps
Well, I
he
got
is.
Deshaun
agree.
Watson 7 right now. I would have him 7 no matter where he was because he's got to prove more in the postseason. And he didn't play last year. That all factors in for me.
All right.
I think he could definitely be a top 5. Right now, I got him 7.
This is a reminder right now, though, why, whether we like it or not, why the Browns made this move is because we're now discussing what our quarterback is in the top 10 and where he should be at.
That's
I
right.
mean, which Baker ain't nowhere to be seen.
That's
and
right.
if he were still here, he'd be nowhere to be seen. So, right here, this conversation that we're having and that list right there is a reason that the Browns decided to pull the trigger on this, whether you agree with it or not.
Great point, because Deshaun Watson is listed in this top 10 list, despite the fact that he might go 2 years without playing, all the stuff swirling him off the field.
Right.
And he went 4-12 in his last season.
And the
He's still
executives still have him in the top 10.
Still
Where
top
is he
10.
for you, Mike?
I have to see him play. I just can't put him in. I can't rank him above any of these guys in the top 10 right now until I've seen him play.
Right.
He can't. I won't know until he actually takes the field.
You know what's interesting is we've seen in the past, quarterbacks that, and I don't want to, Deshaun Watson, I don't put him in the category of a gimmicky quarterback. RG3 to me was gimmicky in that he had a ridiculous skill set with the football in his hand. He was an Olympic caliber track and field athlete on the football field with the ball in his hand on every play. So that made him very tricky to defend. And for a year, the league was scratching its head saying,
what do we do here?
What the hell do we do with this
Right.
guy? How do we stop him? And they couldn't, but they figured it out. Lamar Jackson, I think, was as gifted physically, probably more so than RG3.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think we can go back even further. I think Michael Vick was the guy that really gave the league a conundrum because the league had never seen a quarterback with those kind of athletic skills. Not even Steve Young, Fran Tarkington. They didn't approach what Michael Vick could do. So they figured out Michael Vick. They figured out RG3. They figured out Lamar Jackson. I honestly believe on
I think Lamar's a lot better than both of those guys. Personally,
I do too.
we'll see.
I do too. But I think when I said this coming season is a referendum,
No, I agree.
if I'm Lamar Jackson and his representation, I take the money.
He doesn't
By that,
have
you know what I
representation.
use as a
he
what I use-
represents himself.
Well, he's getting advice from somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
If
it's
I
his
had
mom.
his ear, I would be screaming, cautionary tale, Baker Mayfield. Do you know how much Baker Mayfield would be worth today had he signed the contract the Browns offered him? The rumor was $25 million. Is Baker Mayfield going to get a $25 million a year offer ever again?
Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, who knows what he does
Some magic
in
this
Carolina.
year. It would have to be this year.
It would have to be
this year would
magical.
determine.
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
One way or the
and,
other.
and if he balls out and they go 12-5 and he's
He can rent his own ticket.
has a 2020 Baker Mayfield season, then yes. So he's doing what Flacco did. Very few guys pulled a Flacco, by the way. There have been a lot more guys that bet on themselves and flopped,
No doubt.
than bet on themselves and hit the lottery. He rolled snake eye. I mean, what he did in that season, because we knew what he was before.
Yep.
He's a serviceable quarterback.
Right.
And we know what he did since.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Baker's going to do that.
My mom always told me, man. She said, sometimes you ask yourself, how much money did you come into the game with? Zero.
Yeah.
Now they gonna give you more than you ever done seen, and you gonna hold out for the last penny. People that hold out for the last penny, I would think about it. Hey, Twitter. Hey, Elon Musk is kind of right when the deal was hot. And then you say, hey, come on and buy Twitter. Then people said, you know what? We don't want you buying Twitter. And now he said, okay, I'm not buying Twitter. Now what? Now they talk about, well, no, we got to bring it back.
Twitter is now suing
Suing
Elon
him.
Musk
He's suing
to buy the company.
But you didn't want him to.
But 3 months ago, they wanted him nowhere near the company.
That's what we talking about.
The
Sometimes
true value has been exposed.
when you go on that tape, when it's on the table, I'm taking that, bro.
That's why I think he should sign.
And he's not.
I
And,
just think he should
and
sign.
he not like Lamar Jackson is not a dude that's getting crazy endorsements. It's not like he's
No, that's true.
Baker Mayfield or Patrick Mahomes or discount double check Aaron Rodgers. I ain't see him do nothing.
He might be doing some Baltimore card deal.
Yeah,
that we
You're
don't
right.
know about.
He's not really on a lot of national TV.
I had a conversation once with a senior advertising exec that deals with professional athletes' contracts. And he mentioned 5 guys. I'm not going to give the other 4 names because one of them is played here. But he mentioned 5 guys who should be 8-figure endorsement guys. And Lamar Jackson was one of them. He said if you just use your eyeballs and you look at what you see on the field, but not a perfect pitch man.
Right.
I don't think I've ever felt so sorry for anybody during a Heisman speech than I did Lamar Jackson. He just and I have a personal friend who was hired as a communications coach for Lamar Jackson before the Heisman.
Wow.
Before the Heisman.
Jeez.
Because Louisville knew.
Yeah.
Louisville had been around him enough and they had seen him do enough interviews. Some people are very comfortable in front of cameras. Then you got guys like Ricky Williams. Remember, Ricky Williams used to do interviews with his helmet on and a shield. You couldn't see his face.
Right.
Well, Lamar, I don't know this to be a fact that he's, a sociophobe, but he does not love the camera, and the camera doesn't love him. And it's unfortunate because this guy should be in Patrick Mahomes' neighborhood in terms of one endorsement after another, but no one's lined up for him.
See, go, Lamar Jackson, go find Marshawn Lynch. He'll tell you how to turn yourself into, hey, I don't want to be fined. I don't want. Until now, Marshawn Lynch.
He's still doing
Now he's a
endorsements.
comedian.
He's not even playing, and he's still got endorsements.
I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And by accident.
Yeah.
By him sitting in front of the cameras and saying, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Right. Made him a celebrity.
Who's the Cleveland player that should be making money?
It's an NBA player.
NBA player. That's all you're going to tell us.
NBA
I know.
Yeah. You could guess.
Kyrie?
Yeah.
It's Kyrie. Oh, okay. So this is back
The
in
reason
the day.
I didn't want to say. The reason I didn't want to say. I won't say the reasons.
Well,
But there were, the reasons were pretty controversial. But
Because he's a crazy person?
Kyrie.
Is that why?
You said it, not me.
All right, because he's a crazy person.
But this ad exec said in a vacuum.
Yeah.
If you just go on skill set.
Yeah, he should
Kyrie
be.
Irving. I love watching Kyrie Irving play the game of basketball.
Yeah, he's one of the most fun guys to watch.
Love watching him, and I think fans love him. But you remember when he had the Pepsi gimmick where he would go to the playgrounds and he was dressed up as an old dude.
Uncle Drew.
There was some fallout from that whole thing that had a lot of other major companies saying, yeah, we're going to pass.
Because he acted like a crazy person when he was there. They already put like old man makeup on him. Like, let's disguise him as much as possible, get that personality hidden. Let's just get you under some makeup, some heavy makeup.
Put him incognito
to go out there, and it's like, it's Kyrie. It really is him. And then buy Pepsi.
That's
funny. I'm sure he was totally normal through all
we're going to do the offensive lineman next, right?
Yeah, let's take the list, Steve. Here's 1 through 5 of ESPN's
This is the
same
list of
survey.
interior offensive linemen.
Again,
of
ranked
interior
by
offensive
officials.
linemen. And this leads into a Browns topic we'll get to. Here's 1 through 5. Quentin Nelson of the Colts, Zach Martin of the Cowboys, Brendan Scherf of the Jaguars, Joe Thuney of the Chiefs, and our guy, Joel Bitonio of the Browns. Let's go 6 through 10, Steve. Take the next one. Ryan Jensen, Elgin Dentons, Jason Kelsey, Wyatt Teller of the Browns, and Corey Linsley. So the Browns have 2 of the top 10 interior offensive linemen.
20% of the best.
This is placebo. This list is trash.
Wow.
This list is trash.
Why?
Like, bro, listen. Wyatt Teller is better than Jason Kelsey, Jenkins, and that other dude, bro. I don't even know why they got.
Studying the offensive line of these other teams? You're on it? That's your thing?
I'm a fat guy. I used to go against offensive linemen. It's what I do.
I have to trust your judgment on that. I never have any idea what's going on.
But either way, even if you don't like, even if you don't think they're in perfect numbers, the fact that, like, think about this is interior linemen. So you're talking guards and a center. There's 90 starters, right? No, 96 starters at those positions. So the Browns have 2, even if that list is right, 2 of the top 9 out of 96 starters. That's pretty damn good.
But it's tremendous. I was surprised to see Kelsey up there still.
No.
That's reputation.
Man, that's reputation. Here's the thing.
Because he is not playing at a top 10 lineman level right now.
People have no clue what linemen do up front.
That's true.
Yeah. They just say,
enlighten us.
They just say, oh, well.
But these guys are scouts and executives.
No. It's name brand recognition.
True, that's fair.
Because the only reason you know about a lineman is if whether or not they get holding penalties or jump or false start. That's it. No one says.
They're graded out.
And if you go by grades, one of the highest graded offensive linemen when it comes to it is Wyatt Teller.
Yes, you're
right.
right.
Bitonio's higher. Wyatt Teller is probably the best rush run offensive guard.
The best run blocking guard in the game. Period.
But Bitonio overall is a little better because he can pass. Teller's a little better than Bitonio in run blocking, but Bitonio's significantly better than Teller.
Well, let's agree to say this.
Blocking.
We've got 2 of the top 10.
Elite.
And I think that most observers of the game will agree with that. I don't think anybody's going to say that they don't. The point here, and the jumping off point for this discussion is, you've got 2 of the top 10 interior linemen. How does that set up for a backup quarterback to play 8 games if that's what he ends up playing? How does that factor into what we can see from Jacoby Brissett?
If Kevin Stefanski, I keep going back to it, man. This is very important, man. We got to realize this, man. Kevin Stefanski is going to be such a microscope on his game plan because when we watching the Cleveland Browns play these other teams, and when we see them come out and they want to, and they're looking like they want to move the football, we going to count how many times did Chubb get the ball, and we going to count how many times did Kareem Hunt get the ball, and then we going to count how many times they was in the game together. Because at this point, there is no excuse. You have a backup quarterback who you don't really know what they can give you. His skill set is limited. So if we're going to be watching, now you know, wow, in the middle when we want to run zone, when we want to move people off the ball, we got 2 of the best interior linemen in the game. and you still are not feeding these backs the football.
Right.
We're going to be watching you and seeing, because that's what the game plan is supposed to be. If you play the Browns in the first 8 games, you should be like, damn.
Yeah.
Play the Cleveland Browns. I don't want to. These guys got hands on me. I don't want to deal with them up front and people. Leave me alone. I don't like offensive linemen's hand on me. They smell bad and they push people around. You should know what kind of game you in for.
But gee, here's the thing. And as great as those two guys are, guys, with offensive line more than any other position, it's not about your best guy. It's about your worst guy. So I would rather have 5 good, solid offensive linemen than have 3 great guys and 2 guys who stink.
Are you worried about our line?
I'm a little worried. Now,
we have an unproven commodity in a very important spot.
Well, I think, and you could argue they have it in 2 spots, because Jedrick Wills is not proven at left tackle. He was solid as a rookie, solid, but not great. And last year he was not very good. Now, I know he was hurt, but again, you're on the field, you're expected to perform.
But the injury he had,
it was a bad one. Yes, I think it factored in, no doubt.
It's almost like a quarterback that has an injured throwing shoulder.
Agreed, but
because you know more than anybody, if your lower half is not 100% as an offensive lineman, you're going to get roached.
That's why I told him after the first game, I'll let you get back in.
Take him out. I wanted that
too.
too.
You know this too.
I wanted that too.
He was anointed as a rookie. He wasn't great as a rookie.
No,
he was solid.
No, he wasn't.
He was anointed at Alabama. He came in with a ton of expectations.
But he needs to, step up his game. And even at right tackle, when Conklin's there, he's great.
Yeah.
But he's missed a lot of time.
Yes.
So I have some questions. So, if those 3 spots are solid, which I think they will be if they're healthy, then the offensive line's in great shape. But no matter how good your guards are, if you're not getting, at least solid tackle play and certainly solid center play, it could screw up the whole thing. I don't think it will, but it's something to be.
And the Treader
keep an eye
factor,
on.
we haven't even talked about that.
Yeah.
Here's all I want to see. There. You now. Now your turn.
I'm with you.
Now just right to Kareem Hunt. And he goes, Briss's not even in. Not even in. Just like it right
Wildcat.
That's the first 4 games of the season. That's what I want to see.
Have Kareem Hunt play quarterback and Nick Chubb
Sure.
play
Mike,
tailback.
are you down to thinking that it's a 4-game suspension now?
I have no idea.
You said that's the first 4 games of the season.
I just want him to get started. I want him to get started out of the gate warm.
The teams that we're going to play, like
That's
you got
what
the
I'm
Jets
saying.
and
Don't
he
even
said
think about
it.
throwing
Don't even. Hey, listen, man. Hey, don't complicate things.
Yeah.
And I think this is truthful. When you look at other teams, we can't ask the Browns to have all-stars at every position. At some point,
No team does.
What offensive lineman has a whole unit that is completely trusted?
You want the other 3 guys to be solid. That's it. I'm not asking them to be stars. Just be solid.
Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are 2 of the highest-rated backs in the league that make people miss. First contact, their miss percentage, making guys miss, running people over. And so if you got the first 4 games and you got a healthy offensive line and these 2 running backs, I think the Cleveland Browns will be good to go.
I'll wrap it up with something that you said. I think it was the point of the topic. This season, but particularly the first however many games the Browns have to play with a backup quarterback, this is a real important time for Stefanski. Because I talk about genius credentials needing to be renewed. I thought last year he was below where I expect him to be as a play caller and an offensive coordinator. And I think that the tarnish of his rookie coach of the year or whatever he was, I think the tarnish of that trophy is we see it now. And in this league, you can have one bad year.
Yeah.
Even if you've got injuries. But it's that second bad year where eyebrows start to come up and executives start to whisper in the hallways. And this is big for Stefanski.
Even when the Eagles fired their coach, whose name is escaping me now, the coach won the Super Bowl, Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
After he won a Super Bowl.
Well,
like 2 years later.
Yeah. So the honeymoon was very brief, but it was obvious, too, that was nowhere near the team that won the Super Bowl.
And that was the point. Like, if he's going to lose his job 2 years after a Super Bowl, Stefanski doesn't definitely keep
As
it
Jerry
2 years after
Glanville
one playoff win.
famously said in an NFL films, NFL stands for not for long.
They should be paying him to this day for that slogan.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Two things. First of all, Doug Peterson, former Browns starting quarterback.
Yeah,
That's something
he's on the list.
And he looks like 65.
He looks like a former Browns offensive lineman.
He does too. Secondly, I think that the Stefanski thing is as bad as some of the play calling was last year. It was, for me, the thing that shook my faith was allowing Baker to keep playing.
Yeah.
You got to make that call as a coach.
Listen, I'm with you 100%.
You got to make that call as a coach.
And I don't put all of that on Stefanski.
No, neither do I.
I think the front office could have, ironically, the quote that really sent Baker over the edge was when Chris Mortensen said there was a Browns executive who said we need an adult in the room. And
Right.
I agree with that, by the way. I agree with the assessment that Baker is wildly immature and too thin-skinned and rabbit-eared and all of that. I think that's dead on. But I think that the irony to me of that quote was, yeah, we do need an adult in the room at quarterback. We also need an adult in the room with the headset and with the front office.
Yep.
And where were they last year? We all watched as Baker clearly wasn't Baker Mayfield.
Right.
And yet we want to blame Baker for trying to be valiant and play through it.
This is what happened. You say they put him out there to mess around, and why would he should have been out? They made that decision when Baker Mayfield said, "Why wasn't you in this meeting? You was over here with Myles Garrett. I need you to be in this meeting with me." And he was upset about it. Stefanski was like, "Okay." Yeah,
So
you gonna play the rest of the
Yeah,
season.
but now that's
dog.
spiteful. And
Oh,
that
yeah,
hurts
no,
the
I'm
franchise.
If that happened, that's wrong. And
I'm
this
definitely telling you
season
that's what
is a
happened.
referendum
Yeah.
on
I believe that.
on Stefanski too. We talked about a referendum on Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Kevin Stefanski's got a lot to prove this
Yeah.
year. No doubt.
I
You talked
agree.
about it. They've changed over the whole offense, except for their stars. The strength of the offense, the running game stayed the same, and you've, in theory, at least on paper, and at least depending on how many games Watson plays, you've significantly increased your passing game. So there's no excuse, unless Watson misses the whole season, for this offense not to be great.
I agree.
But just to be clear, you guys really think that he played Baker Mayfield out of spite
I don't.
when
No,
he was
I
hurt
don't.
and because he wanted to show how bad he was so that he had more negotiation next
No,
year?
I don't think that.
Sacrifice winning games.
But the idea that personalities factor into this, I think that there was some of this from Stefanski.
Man,
oh, really?
So for real?
Oh, really?
Well, okay. Well, you go out. Let's see how you handle it. You want to be tough?
That would
All
be
right, let's
horribly
roll.
immature.
Let's
If
roll.
you sacrifice potentially winning or losing a game just to get that point across,
Why
that would be
wasn't
very
he taken
immature.
off the field? Guys, why?
I don't know.
It's hard
Particularly
to
when
come
the
up with a
backup
perfect
comes in
answer.
against Minnesota.
And looks great.
And
Fine.
well, they should have won that game.
He should have kept playing after that. I really don't have a great answer. I do know the medical staff cleared him each week.
I think he got bullied.
I find it hard to believe
I
they
think he
thought
got
they had a better
bullied.
chance to win with Baker.
He got
but-
bullied by Baker and the fans, I think. I think he got bullied. And Baker was just like, I can do it. I'm going to do it, coach.
Well, you got to be bigger than that as a coach.
I agree.
You have to make the tough decision.
Totally
That's why
agree.
you make the money.
It was much sneakier. They understood that the fan base was at this level. I keep saying Baker is one of the most beloved people in this city. People be forgetting. People are switched over to the Carolina Panthers so Baker is there. They knew that they couldn't physically say, you know what, we're going to take you out because that means.
Yeah, but you got to turn out the noise.
But hold on.
You
hold on.
can't make decisions based on what the fans
I'm
think.
getting to it. I'm getting to it. Here's the point. They said, we're going to let him play himself out of a contract. We're going to put you out here.
But how does that benefit
I just find that hard to
Because,
believe.
hold on. It benefited him. Why? Because then after Baker shows his interceptions, after he shows that he's inconsistent, and people start to see, then what do? Let's get Deshaun Watson. They already started making conversations about that in October and November.
We knew
They
that.
had made their
Yeah, but see,
decision.
I just don't buy they did. I don't think
I
the front
can't-
office cares what the fans
I
do.
No,
can't-
they would have
I
done it.
can't
I feel like they
imagine
would have
that.
done it anyway.
It's hard to come up with a great answer as to why they kept playing him.
You know what was the
but I
biggest
find that
mystery to
hard
me?
believe.
When you go back and you watch the Steelers game, and what they were doing in the Steelers game with no extra tight end or protection
look,
on the
man.
right side.
Well, if you read in Jason's article, he made the point that they set up a lot of those plays to get rid of the ball quickly, and he didn't throw it. So, who knows?
You got 3 seconds when Watt, not even 3 seconds, when Watt is one-on-one with a bad tackle and no tight end help.
Bro,
You can't you can't even. The ball's barely in your hand, and Watt's in your face.
They told him, if you think you Patrick Mahomes, you think you Josh Allen, well, we're going to give you the ball, take a 5-step drop, and see what you
I
do.
hope that's not true because I need my head coach to be an adult.
Getting a little Pelican brief conspiracy theory.
Hey,
around
I'm
here.
just saying.
All right, let's. Dude, if that is true, I'm terrified. All right, let's talk about backup quarterbacks as long as we're on that subject.
We're talking about
Mitch
Baker.
Another ranking, right? We've got the this is from FanDuel. These are the rankings in the AFC North. You got Joe Burrow number 1. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that.
That's funny.
Lamar Jackson at number 2. No problem with that. You've got Mitch Trubisky at 3, Jacoby Brissett at 4. I see absolutely nothing wrong with this current rankings.
I mean,
does anybody have a fault with that?
I don't know.
I have a bit of a fault because, hey, stand on what you mean. This is the easy way out. They're going to put Jacoby Brissett on here, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, you meant to say, hey, you know Deshaun Watson going to play at one point in time. Put your name by it.
But this is week 1.
I need your name by it.
I don't. What, you think you're saying Mitch Trubisky is better than Deshaun
No.
Watson?
No, I want him to me, we always talk about it. I want him to debate the Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson thing. Because to me.
You can't put Deshaun Watson ahead of Joe Burrow. Not right now. Not until he plays.
I agree with that, but if you're talking about, this is why I always say, talent for talent, skill for skill. When you get to be about 4, 5, 6, 7, it's all about what. Preference.
Yeah, I mean, the skill difference between Burrow and Watson is negligible. You could even argue Watson's a more skilled player, but right now, in terms of who you want leading your locker room and who's accomplished the playoffs, it's not close.
And if you say character, Joe Burrow has,
right.
I mean, if you want to count that, but I will say that a lot of people would make.
I don't disagree at all.
I hope some terrible secrets come out about Joe Burrow. I hope he has a terrible life that we don't know about. I hope he's doing something revolting. I really do. I want to bring everyone down to our level. If we can't be up there, I want to see Joe Burrow. I want him to be involved in some kind of trafficking
I can't imagine Joe even being involved in a scandal.
Those are the ones that you always been able to surprise
you. Never know. We would have said the same thing about Watson a year and a half ago.
People were saying that about Tom Brady after his second Super Bowl. Like, this guy isn't that squeaky.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes, he is.
I'll tell you, for years, I was like, Tim Tebow's a phony. I don't buy any of this.
Tim is the real
He's a
deal.
complete phony.
Yeah.
I never bought it. And now I'm like, all right, I guess he's real.
Well, I'll tell you someone that,
I hate his
that
fans,
knows
but I
Tim
don't hate
personally
him.
and worked with Tim.
Yeah.
I was so skeptical. And, Mike, you know that I'm like, I take it at face value.
Yep.
You know? I swear to you, every time I've ever been around him, I'm looking at him like,
what's your secret? Right.
Look,
what do you hide?
There's no way this guy's really a virgin. I mean,
Dude,
come on
this
now.
guy is the most thoughtful. If he sees somebody that needs something of him, even if he's busy doing his job or whatever, he goes out of his way to accommodate people. Not for cameras, not because anybody's going to look, just because he feels like he owes it to everybody.
There is 2 people that I've never, and I get a chance to see them in my lifetime. There's 2 people that had the hugest magnifying glasses on their life, their career, personal life. It's LeBron James and Tim Tebow. And they just have not messed up. They just haven't I mean, Tim Tebow is so bad. Like, people, like you said, you run
I was
across
convinced
street.
he was a phony
You was
for
looking
years.
around like, hey,
Yeah.
man, do you got another woman in your book bag?
There's got to be something
Are you
going
carrying
on.
somebody?
Are you really into Wicca?
Are you
Yeah.
embezzling
Coke
money?
and hanging with hookers. There's got to be that.
Like, he got to be. And LeBron, he just does it. Like, LeBron goes home and hangs out with his wife, and like, that's just it. And his kids have Taco Tuesday. I'm like, bro.
He knows there are a million haters watching him saying,
Hey,
please get a Dewey.
slip
Please
up.
do something wrong. Please.
Hey, one more Long Island
I
iced
need
tea,
a rationalization to hate you.
But the bottom line of that, yes, Mitch Trubisky is better than Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah,
Yes.
look, and the question, I think in our notes back and forth for the show, the question was, would you rather have Trubisky over Brissett? I would love to have Mitch Trubisky.
I'll take Trubisky.
And quite frankly, how he didn't end up here is a mystery to me.
What's the backup quarterback that played for the Ravens last year?
He had a hell of a year.
Huntley.
I take Hundley over Brissett.
Man, I'm telling you, there were times that I watched him, and I thought, whoa, the Ravens might have a decision on their hands.
Just look at us right now. You're saying, like, I would dream of having Mitch Trubisky.
I would.
And you're just like,
I would
oh,
take him.
man.
I would take him in a heartbeat.
I'd take Baltimore's backup in a heartbeat. I know, that's
my
where we're
God.
at right now.
I know.
Unfortunately.
Just for the first 8 games,
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
going to take Trubisky.
I know.
And I'm not suggesting for a second that they have signed Trubisky and moved forward with him. I'm just
Right.
saying that the way things fell with Deshaun's future being
He'd be a
uncertain,
better option.
If Trubisky was here, I think everybody at this panel would be feeling a whole lot more comfortable.
And
off the first 8
Trubisky
games.
is also kind of in that same vein
can
as
move.
Watson. He's a good athlete.
Yeah,
Yes.
good athlete,
Yes.
young guy.
That's actually his
I
strength.
think Trubisky is going to end up closer to the player we thought he was going to be coming out of college than the guy we saw in Chicago.
I didn't think he was going to be
Chicago,
good out of college.
look, if
but-
you want to destroy your professional career as a quarterback, go to Chicago.
Well, people used to say that about Cleveland, too.
Well, it was true.
He didn't have a lot of talent around him.
No, and
He's
But
29 and 21 as a starter.
I
in case
think Mitch
somebody was
Trubisky.
okay, and what is Deshaun Watson?
wondering. I don't know what Deshaun Watson
Deshaun
is,
Watson
but
is 29 and 31.
28 and 26.
28 and 26.
Mitch
So
Trubisky
Trubisky's record is better.
has a lot to prove.
He's been to a Pro Bowl too,
He
right?
does, but my point was he did make a Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
My point was I thought going to Chicago with what they had around him,
Yeah.
which by the way is very similar to what they're putting around our Buckeye and ruining him.
Yeah, right.
I just don't think we ever got a clear reading on what Mitch can do in the NFL.
So what do you think he's going to be?
I'll tell you
he's gonna be a
this.
top
I'll
20
tell you this. Now,
quarterback?
Bernie Kosar worked with him because
Yeah.
of the Menor connection, and he had some connections to him. He was telling me before the draft, if the Browns don't take him, they'll regret it for a long time. And the way it played out early with him going to Chicago, I would even ask Bernie, now he had a great year, a Pro Bowl
He
season.
won Pro Bowl season.
But when the pieces around him dwindled and he was exposed, he struggled mightily
Yeah.
and was eventually signed the one-year deal to go to Buffalo. We never saw him with the Bills.
Yeah.
But Bernie is so high on his skill set.
Right.
He's insisted that if he's in the right situation, this guy will thrive as an NFL quarterback. Is there ever a team that provides
They
the
got-
right situation
they-
more than Pittsburgh
They got
historically?
They got 3 good receivers.
And they got a
think
great
he's
running game.
I
And a
think
great
he's a
running game.
startable NFL quarterback, but a bottom-level starter. That's what
You
I
do.
think. That's
This
what I
is-
think we'll see.
This is why this
Bernie
hurt.
knows more than I
This-
do. So.
I hate the AFC North. Even the bottom
I.
feeders, even the people that's supposed to be bottom
Are
feeders,
scary.
are like they got 3 or 4 things. TJ Watt can just wreck a game. They got Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and
Chase Claypool's overrated.
I'm just,
all right.
I mean, but they
So much could go
Their
wrong, you're right.
receiving core is better than the Browns.
right. I wish we were in Baker's conference
Not
right
that
now.
much better.
Oh, there is a resurrection of
gosh.
one of our great.
Court is in session.
He's back, everyone, and well rested and tan.
I don't have my robe, so
right, here we
I
go.
don't really feel like a judge. I don't know that I have all the full authority of a judge. Kind of
Yeah.
like Sue Robinson.
Matt
Kind of half a judge, but
Yeah.
I'm not anymore. So are we doing? I wasn't clear from the notes. Are we doing the two topics?
Yes.
In Judge Day. Okay.
Both
I
as
thought
Judge
we were.
Day, correct.
So in 2 more years, Heinz Field loses its name.
Yeah.
Because Heinz used to be obviously Heinz 57.
Right.
They left Pittsburgh. They had their corporate headquarters in Pittsburgh. They left. Doesn't make much sense for them to continue to sponsor Heinz Field. Although if you ask Steeler fans, they're furious over this.
Sure.
Like they want tradition. They want it to remain Heinz Field.
Tradition. It's a
So-
sponsor.
yeah, I know, but
That's
listen,
weird.
even though Jacobs Field
Yeah.
for us, I mean, it was named after the owner.
Right.
Look how we felt when they changed it.
Yeah.
But at least it
Some
wasn't
people still call it the Jake.
true. But it wasn't. At least it wasn't named after a product.
No, just a rich guy.
I know, but
Yeah, it's some-
it was one rich
right.
guy
It
and
wasn't
another rich
like
guy.
he didn't-
It's
he didn't save
you
a
know what?
family
I
or
don't
anything.
even know. So Wrigley Field was named after a guy and
Yes.
a product.
Yes.
But go tell Chicago. If I told you right now we're changing the name of Wrigley Field, you'd probably pass out.
Right.
You'd
I might.
probably pass out.
I might.
So it's just
Yeah.
you hold dear
Yeah,
the
sure.
traditions of your.
They have a lot
your
of good
team.
memories there too. It's not
Oh,
like,
they have great memories.
Like we would all pay anything to have First Energy off of our building right now.
God.
Not only for the terrible memories that we have,
But for the
most part of that
corporation.
building, but
Yeah.
for the fact that they're responsible for one of the biggest, biggest scandals in Ohio state history.
And that's saying something.
it really
That's saying
is.
something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay, so court is in session, and what we're going to do is decide a new name for
Yes.
Heinz Field.
Oh,
We still
good.
have in 2 years when the name comes off of it.
Yeah.
What shall we call that stadium in Pittsburgh?
that's
Who's
tough.
going first?
I
guys?
think we
We'll
should
start with Bull. Yeah, we'll
Yes,
start with Bull.
Bull, you go first.
Bring up mine. Do you have a picture of it? Do you have a?
We do.
Okay. Here we
Anthony
go.
did a great job with these.
Okay.
Tomato Ketchup Stadium. So, for years, the Steelers were a prominent team. They were a successful team. They had a great quarterback, first Terry Bradshaw, then eventually again with little Benny Roethlisberger. And they were Heinz Field. Heinz Field, right? Heinz is the ketchup.
Sure.
No, have you heard of any of the ketchups?
What?
No.
No, I don't think there is any.
Yeah.
There's no other ketchup brand. It's
So you
all
just want
Heinz.
Not true.
No.
There
And
are
you'll
other
find
brands,
out in
but
a
they're all
second.
non-existent.
You'll find out in a second why I know for a fact it's not true.
And now the
It's like
Steelers
Kleenex,
have become a
the one and
generic
only.
team. Now, a lot of Browns fans are still scarred from the Steelers, and I get it. The Steelers were not very good last year. They've been bad essentially since they started 11-0 in 2020.
Yeah.
Right? They have not been the same team since then. Their quarterback situation is below average. I think they're overrated. Now, Mike Tomlin's a great coach, so he gives them a chance, but they're a generic team. There's nothing that exciting about them. There's nobody that you're that excited about on their team. Forget T.J. Watt. Bleep him. And so they're a generic team, so they get a generic catch.
Makes sense to
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
I'll file that away before
Okay.
I make my
I
decision.
think is my next. Can we?
Yeah,
whatever.
Paul, you gave us 3. We
Yeah.
made one graphic,
You
and I'd
pulled
like
a
you to
me.
share the other 2, though,
three.
because
Great.
all
Okay.
3 were great.
The first one is I say Heinz Field because that is the worst ketchup. If you've ever had Heinz, it's a lot cheaper than Heinz, and it pretty much is just red corn syrup. But it'll do in a pinch. It's usually what they have at like generic amusement parks and stuff like that. And that's essentially the level they're at right now. My other 2 that I recommend are the Yinsane Asylum. Just like a fun pun. And
So
then
they would appreciate that.
Yes, and then my last one is Baker Mayfield's Memorial Stadium, and that's because they need to honor Baker Mayfield because he never lost a playoff game there. Unlike Ben Roethlisberger, pay that man his due, honor him, and call it Baker Mayfield Memorial Stadium.
1-0
Those are
in the
mine.
playoffs there.
Undefeated.
Oh my God.
What was the Yins
All
one
time.
again?
The Yinsane Asylum.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
a good
best
one. That's
one.
the leader in the clubhouse.
They should at least-
Insane
G. Bush,
Asylum.
you're on the clock, but you got a long way to go to make up
Man,
for
this,
Yinsane
this,
Asylum.
this is easy money. First of all, I'm going to give you some statistics to back what I'm saying. The Steelers, by the way, are one of the best home teams over the last 5 years. Record overall is 29-11. That's good for a 720 winning mark, which is third in the entire NFL. Given the fact that it's such a hard place to play, it's such a hostile place to play, it's simply the temperature is turned up, right? You see what I'm going for, the metaphor. Here's what we go with. We're going to call, first of all, who's going to sponsor this thing? U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel will get the naming rights to Pittsburgh Stadium. And U.S. Steel has $20 billion in revenue. $20 billion, they got the bag, they can do it. We name this place the Steel Mill, and the average temperature of a steel mill is 113 degrees Fahrenheit. So you see the temperature. When you come into Pittsburgh, you know it's going to be hostile, it's going to be hot, it's going to be loud. It's basically a steel mill.
That's a good name if we were trying to be complimentary, then you'd be the winner.
It's not always about coming with the humor and
Ours
the
was
funny.
spite
No,
based.
doesn't have to be funny, but like negative. We need something negative.
I don't need nothing negative. I like the truth. The Steelers, when you
where we
go into
differ.
town, you know
is a
what
cool
type.
name. I'll give you
The
that.
Steel
That is.
Mill
That
sounds
is cool.
great. I got a backer, and on top of that, it all comes in wrappings in one.
Yeah, I don't want them to have that because it is.
Yeah,
a cool
that's a
name.
way too
It is a
cool name for them.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's good.
It is very good.
And it's going to be hard for me as a judge, who I'm supposed to be
And partial.
fair
Yeah,
and
that's
impartial.
the part of
Yeah.
this.
We will really test my impartiality today.
We will.
Because that's
That is the best name, but we don't want it to be
that's a tremendous
complimentary.
name.
Yeah.
That's a tremendous name. I had 3.
Okay.
I pulled a bull.
Yeah, good.
I had 3.
Do you want me to read yours in order of how we made the graphic?
Well, you made the graphic just for one,
We
right?
made the graphic for one. The
Okay, well,
third
let's-
one you sent. If you want to say the first 2 first, then we'll take the
Yeah,
graphic.
let's.
for the third.
So here's what we'll do. We'll hold the one that you made a graphic for to the very end.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do that. My first one is like you. It was. I'm paying reverence. I think it should be called Rooney Field. Why not?
Yeah,
I mean,
they've earned that.
I thought it was ironic that you said Hunt. We have another
the Chiefs.
owner of that caliber,
Yeah.
the Chiefs, and Lamar Hunt coined the phrase Super Bowl,
Right.
which is terrific. Do you know the story behind that?
Nothing to do with the ketchup.
No, his daughter had a Super Ball. You know the old bouncy Super Balls?
Yeah.
This was in the mid to late 60s. And he made it off, he played off that. Super Bowl.
Wow.
And there it is.
A little girl named the Super Bowl.
Basically, yeah, a little
And now
girl
she
did.
can't even use that because it's trademarked. She
It is
couldn't say it
trademarked.
if she wanted to.
Yes,
Probably
you're
can't
right.
even post it on
Filthy rich.
Facebook.
Yeah.
She's filthy
She
rich. She can
doesn't
do whatever
need
she
it.
wants.
She'll be
So
fine.
I want to go
Rules
with
don't
Rooney
apply.
Field because I do think that of all of the owners in sports, not just football, but in all of the owners in all of sports. I think the Rooney family has done as good a job as any, and there are others too. The Mara family with the Giants, the Hunts, obviously. I just think the Rooneys are the gold standard family ownership in pro sports.
Yes.
They've done it in a small market. Now,
Not
granted,
the
the NFL,
Not the Haslams.
not at this point. No,
Not yet.
They are not the gold
Not
standard.
yet.
The other one was, let's go back to Three River Stadium. Like,
was a great
I
name.
mentioned that,
It was.
fans love history.
Yeah.
If tomorrow the new owner of the Guardians came forward and said, out of respect for the former owner of this franchise, we are renaming Progressive Field. We're going to sacrifice the $10 million naming rights or whatever they get for it. And
Sounds
we're going
like
to go
the
back
Dons.
to the roots. We're going to be Jacobs Field. The fan base would
we
go
love
nuts.
it. They'd cut the payroll
And
to
you know
$20
what?
million, but
Right.
Yeah, right.
We'd lose
The
Ramirez.
fan base may actually start to forget about the name change. So
people would like that. That
I
would
think
pump
people here
up.
would love that.
Yes.
They would.
And so I think that they should go back to it, forget the naming rights, take a hit on the money, Three Rivers Stadium. And
would
if
be
you
good.
want to supplant the money that you're going to lose, start a GoFundMe page from Steelers fans.
Yeah.
You might raise a couple million.
That's-
That's how badly they would love for that building to be called again.
And how poorly they
Three River
prioritize their
Stadium.
finances.
Yes, exactly. You're exactly right.
No doubt.
So, how would you like it if they renamed First Energy Municipal Stadium? Sign
be
me
good.
up.
Ooh, yeah.
I'd be all for that.
Yep.
I could wear my shirt again. It's
Yeah.
Municipal Stadium shirt. I still wear it. But here's the one that I think that we should go with.
Okay.
Mike, take the graphic. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
Wow.
The dump. The dump.
Yeah.
So now I'm not going to pick one of my own because I'm a judge. That would be unfair.
Yeah.
I've considered all of the evidence. I've considered all of your testimony. And I love the insane asylum.
Appreciate
You
that.
guys see where I'm going here. I think it really should be G. Bush, and I think you should get a 10% cut of whatever U.S. Steel signs to give the Steelers. I think you should get a 10% cut.
JJ, one sec. We have a last-minute addition from Anthony. He would like to submit
Oh,
a
please. I was about to make my ruling.
Go ahead.
This is a last-minute
This is
addition from
a
Anthony.
brief. This is
Yes.
a late filed brief.
Anthony would like to file
Bad
the
Beer
Bad
City
Beer City Stadium into the mix.
It's true.
So instead of Iron City Light, it's the Bad Beer City Stadium.
That is from our own Anthony
How-
Antonelli.
Why would the beer be any worse there?
and-
It's
than
bad. He's right. Iron City
It
beer
is Iron
bad.
City is bad beer. They love it.
Since I'm great,
So is Yingling.
since I'm great at figuring out and reaching out to sponsorship, I'm going to reach out to the reps at Steel Reserve to go ahead and 211 Steel Reserve to go ahead and get the Bad Beer Stadium naming rights. Have you ever drank a Tall Boy Steel Reserve?
From what I
I
recall.
have not. No, I
Yeah,
have
that
not.
stuff's nasty.
It'll
I've had an Iron City Light,
it'll end your day.
a.k.a.
It
River
is.
Water.
It'll mess you up.
9% alcohol.
Oh, wow.
Yingling's also bad. And do they still make Rolling Rock? That's
I think they do
trash,
make
too.
Rolling Rock.
That's
Yeah,
trash
they're
too.
still-
All those beers are trash. That's a good point, Anthony. I don't know if we should name the stadium.
too
after
long
it,
a name,
but-
though.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah, it's a nice submission. The court took it under consideration and immediately dismissed it. But Anthony, thanks for
That's how
playing.
the system works.
It was, you know what? I like the participation.
He's
Yes.
happy just to be part of the
He
show.
he's smart.
You
He's
get a
beaming.
participation trophy.
He's beaming right now.
You do get a participation trophy. You're right. But this court, after careful
how happy he is.
consideration of all of the evidence, there he is. He's so happy.
You were a
right
part
now.
of things, Anthony.
So, hey, we love you. You are indeed part of the family, despite what those DNA results told us. I'm going to rule in favor of G. Bush. It is from now and forevermore. It is the steel mill.
It's a good name. It's
I
I hate how cool it is, but it's a good
I
name.
hate how cool it
They
is.
should
too.
name it that. I mean, that would be an awesome name.
You were a marketing major, weren't you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and I think it shows that you did not waste your time at OU.
Yeah.
Studying
Bobcats.
marketing, because I think that's a beautiful. I'm
Well
partial
done,
to the
G.
dump.
Yep.
Even though it's way too
But I
positive.
think what we've proven here is we've put our hatred of the Steelers aside to come up with some real interesting names that they could go with after
Yep.
Heinz.
Better than anything they'll come up with.
Heinz Field, yeah.
Speaking of,
Well, they came up with some terrible names. Some insurance company.
The internet,
Yeah.
The internet is always speaking. DCU PTO Juice says they should name.
That's an inappropriate Twitter handle.
They should name the stadium. This segment is too long.
All right.
Well, it would have been shorter, Anthony. It's
Ouch.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Okay. And this concludes this is episode of Judge Jay.
Don't we have a
which
second Judge Jay
apparently
topic?
was way too long.
Yeah,
Now we're going to do Zach Wilson.
We'll do Zach Wilson much quicker.
Yeah.
Set up Zach Wilson for me,
I don't think we should change the plan because one dope who doesn't know how to pick a good Twitter handle doesn't like it.
Yeah, that was a poor Twitter handle.
I just read it like they
It
come
was
on.
funny, though.
I thought he made some solid points.
All right, I'll set up Zach Wilson. We'll fly through this. Steve, take 61 here. For anyone who hasn't seen lately, you already got it pulled up, Steve. Just take it full. Yep. Zach Wilson is the franchise quarterback of the New York Jets.
No, he's not.
Allegedly.
He was the second overall pick
I don't
last
care.
year.
You're not a franchise quarterback until you're a franchise
Anthony
quarterback.
Bennett was the
Okay,
first overall
listen,
pick
we're
of the
arguing
Cavaliers.
semantics now. That's not what this is about.
Okay.
Wilson's ex-girlfriend is now dating his former BYU teammate who's a receiver on the Washington Commanders. On Instagram, someone commented calling her a homie hopper for dating Zach Wilson and then dating his friend. So, Steve, let's cut right to the next one. The ex claimed, who's the real homie hopper? Wilson was sleeping with, quote, his best friend's mom, and Wilson denies the claim. So
Was
there
it
are
the
some
same
very
best? Was it the same best friend that's now dating her?
unconfirmed?
Okay.
I don't believe so. That has not been tied together. But the question is for the court, now that you know this about Zach Wilson, do you have more confidence he can become a franchise quarterback or less confidence in his life decisions?
Yeah.
Nah, he's a scumbag. I mean, if that's true, he's a scumbag. You don't sleep with your best friend's mom. That's way out of line. I didn't think he was going to be good coming out of college. In his rookie year, he was terrible. You want to talk about a place where quarterbacks never succeed? The Jets is another place that quarterbacks never succeed.
They don't.
Who's their best quarterback since Namath?
Vinny Testaverde had some years.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah,
went
it's
to
got to
the-
be Mark
Now,
Sanchez.
yeah,
He stunk.
Sanchez was a blink.
He stunk, but he went to the AFC Championship game twice.
Pennington.
He also gave us the butt
Chad
fumble.
Pennington's probably
Chad
their
Pennington
best.
had
Ken
a-
O'Brien back in the day was a
O'Brien?
decent player,
Yeah.
but they've not had anybody better than average. Probably Pennington's their best guy.
Their
He's not
last
very
10
good.
years at quarterback has been
Awful.
Browns-like.
And I didn't get Zach Wilson coming out of college. I didn't get him
either.
after his rookie year. And if you're sleeping with your best friend's mom, that's a scumbag.
See, I was
move,
not
in
under
my
the impression
opinion.
that it was the best friend's mom. I was under the impression
It's his
it was
mom's best friend. Yeah, that, you gave that.
Totally
you
different.
gave that out of order.
That's also a scumbag.
well,
move.
have you seen her?
No, I haven't. Can we see?
No. Do we
You
have an
see,
image?
I hate that excuse though, because if you're Zach Wilson, you could sleep with almost any woman you want.
Okay.
He's a good-looking, rich football player.
Right.
You don't sleep with your mom's best friend.
Why
and you
not?
don't
I
sleep with your
did
best friend's
mix it
mom.
up, by the way. It is the mom's best friend, not his best friend's mom.
Yeah,
It's the mom's
yeah.
best friend.
I was-
mixed
I
it
was-
up.
I was
apologize.
That's just as
I
bad.
apologize.
Why? Yeah. Me and Mike done hung out a couple places. We all good.
My God. fellas.
We good.
I'm
Your
happy.
I
mom's
don't know. I don't
best
know.
friend,
If you
that's
can, I don't know,
friggin'
Stevie, if
sleazy.
you can get in on
Hold
that.
on.
I
I'm
don't know.
sure she's hot. I get it, but he could have a million hot women. He's a young,
I know, but
good-looking
what if it's
football
love?
player.
Why are you saying it's
So-
not love?
It's not love.
You
Well,
don't
we
know
don't
that.
know. How do we know? We don't know.
Can I see this? Can I get a closer
I
look at
think
this?
that's
Look,
the
look,
girlfriend.
look at it. There she is.
That's the
The
girlfriend.
one on the left, probably.
One on the left?
She looks a little
No, it's the
older.
same. That's her.
That's the same. That girl looks like she's 20.
well, maybe his mom's best friend is 20.
You guys, that's the new girl.
I'll tell you
I
how
looked
old
into
she
this.
is.
That's the new 20-year-old he's dating. We do not have a picture of the mom. I did my research. All right.
Okay.
As far as I know, we don't have a picture of the
that
mom's
called
friend.
Porn,
No,
your
this is the
research?
mom.
No,
This is the friend's mom.
Don't
According
put
to
her-
this article in the
Really?
Sun. Yeah, her name is Nicolette. She spent a night at Yankee Stadium with Zach Wilson, and they even showed a close-up of the two at the game, and they were holding hands.
All right. Well,
So I mean, I think it's a little bit.
my TMZ sources are wrong then.
I just
Right,
think
perhaps.
That's not a mom's friend.
that can't be a mom.
Well, have you
friend.
seen Zach Wilson's mom, guys?
That's like a
Wait,
14-year-old.
have you
just
seen
showed
Zach
there.
Wilson's mom?
No.
No.
Yes. Remember draft day? She was trending on Twitter. Everyone thought it was Zach's girlfriend.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's
and
really
then
hot.
and then it came out there like the announcer said on the draft, guys, that's not Zach's girlfriend. That's Zach's mom.
What is the mom? What I'd like to know is what does the mom feel about it? Like, what's
Yeah,
the, you know?
That's fair.
The mom
Fair
said
question.
stop bullying Zach on social media.
She did. She stood up for her son by saying stop bullying.
All right.
So she must be okay with it, I would think.
I guess. I don't know. I get bad vibes from Zach Wilson. I think he's gonna be a bust.
I like the chances of a guy who is dating like moms at that age. You're right. He does have his option of dating whoever he wants. He can date, whatever. The fact that he's doing that, kind of weird, kind of interesting. Also shows a little bit of oddness and maturity, maybe even that he's going after the more mature ladies.
Right.
I've dated women, older women who are, by that I mean my age, in the past. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of perks to it. They're a lot more chill. They're not as Instagrammy. They always have snacks in their purse. Typically, I've found a lot of times that's always nice. You can get a juice box or something like that if you're thirsty.
Your girlfriend carries a juice box?
Not my girlfriend currently. She's no. I'm talking about in the past, in my hated dating past before I found the one.
You funny, man.
No, it's true though. I'm telling you,
Mike, this judge can rule on one thing.
Thank you, go ahead.
You did find the one.
Thank you. That's I appreciate that.
You did
but
find
no,
the one.
dating older women is really it's quite delightful, and I think that it might keep his head.
Quite delightful.
It might keep his head.
I love Mike's
They
phrase.
prioritize the right things, unlike the young kids.
Right.
They don't care. It's like let's get down to business. Let's make things happen right now.
I
don't
love
have
the
time.
you coined a new phrase, less Instagrammy.
Yes.
Like
100%.
I think all quarterbacks should learn from this.
Yes. So, anyways, I think it shows good character that he's sleeping with older women, and I think it might.
Even if it's his mom's best friend.
Sure, it might. Maybe the mom's fine with it. It might be one of those open.
Maybe they're having a
families.
threesome. I don't know.
Oh well, let's not go there. Okay.
It's his mom for crying out loud.
I mean, if she's that hot, our best friend looks like she's 19. I mean, who knows what's
G.
going
Bush
on
is.
there?
Do we have any other tweeters telling us
Yeah,
that
does
this
that guy
segment
want
is
this
too long?
segment to keep going? This is the same segment, by the way, that guy complained about earlier,
large
and we're
sap
still
face.
in it.
Well, we have, real quick, if you don't want to roll, Jay, we do have some Jets reactions.
All right,
his
let's do it.
teammates' reactions. And as always, when we read you internet reactions, even if they're from the New York Jets, it's brought to you by
This will be
PCC
classic.
Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus get full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. This first internet comment comes from Mekhi Becton, his left tackle. After the news broke, Mekhi, that's my quarterback.
That was fire.
I think it'll give him extra street cred in the.
Yeah,
Listen,
definitely.
it gets
Starts to get
better.
some
It's
respect.
just the beginning. All right,
My
next one, Steve.
quarterback.
This is Sauce Gardner, their first pick.
That's great.
Hey,
Next one, Steve.
hey,
Oh, that is great.
no
Chad
cap, though.
Ochocinco, your boy Jay, said Zach Wilson's the GOAT. Elijah Moore is receiver, says no cap for the kids. That means, yeah, they agree, or for the old people.
Yeah,
And
very good.
lastly,
Thanks
this
for the
is,
translation.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson, always been about that Cougar life. He went to BYU, tweeting out Cougar Nation.
Yeah,
It
it's
all,
called
it all adds up.
foreshadowing.
There's a thing. See,
I'm surprised there was no tweet of the girl, and then while Zach Wilson is hooking up with her, Rex Ryan's rubbing her feet.
Oh, too much information. Too much
too many
information.
No, I went too
Too
far.
many levels. You went way too far.
We're gonna
Yeah.
we'll put a here's the thing, man. This is why I tell all kind of people all the
Yeah.
time, man. Regular fans have no clue. Like these guys are mythical creatures. They're unicorns. They do what they like. That's why people say, "Oh, I wouldn't do this," or "I would never." Bro, you don't have the option of doing
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
You're never getting
Wait a
that
second,
off.
G.
You're never getting that off.
No matter how much, you can't sleep with your best friend's girlfriend or something like that. That's acceptable.
Your best
No,
friend.
he didn't sleep with
No,
his
I'm
best friend's
saying if
girlfriend.
you said like the rules are different, and I agree.
Yeah, they are.
But you think it's okay to sleep with your best friend's girl, and that's if you're a famous athlete.
Well, no. Listen, we got to. You know how we go. It's bros before you know what. We
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
do that. Now, here's the thing. You can't. Like there's rules of engagement, but here you got to understand is
They have
like
more options.
in the
I get
words
it.
of certain athletes, they for the street, they for the community.
I get it.
They don't.
I saw minor league baseball players in A-ball all having hot girlfriends, no matter how ugly they were, and most of them were never going to sniff the majors.
Get you a smart girl who got a good family. And that she got something, she got her degree, she's smart, and marry her, have you some kids, and stay out the game. Other than that, you're going to be on TMZ, you're going to be on Instagram, and you don't want no parts of that. Zach Wilson will be splitting half his money in a second.
Baker at the Cheesecake Factory with that girl?
Yeah, I do. We don't talk about that enough.
Yeah, how does that get lost?
I feel like we should bring that up.
I
more.
try not to talk about it because, listen, you can all it takes is a picture. I saw Jay Crawford over here on East 62th Street. Right
So you think it's-
Who was you over there with?
That's how you live your life now.
Look,
Cameras
see,
are pointed
that was
everywhere.
Urban Meyer, right?
I can't do
Yeah.
it. No, I'm cool. I'm in a bat cave with Alfred. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Alfred. Great reference.
I
Great
get the
reference.
point, though. I do get the point.
Right.
Of like, there are people who are just like, I would never do that or anything like that. It's like nobody wants to sleep with you, buddy.
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
a really good-looking friend in college who would just get like he had a girlfriend and he'd always end up cheating on her, but he looked like a Ken doll. And then he had like friends who are not appealing in any way, who are like, I can't believe he does that to her. I'm like, no one's ever come up to you.
But
and
wait a second.
It makes it
That
harder.
doesn't make it okay.
It does not
Doesn't make it okay. That's
but
not what
that
he
person
said.
has more
Yeah.
temptation thrown at
But
them and more
it's
ability
easy for the
than
guy
other.
with no options.
It's easy to moralize.
to judge the guy with all the
Right.
options
It's just different.
as
Right.
being virtue signaling, like, I can't believe he did
But
that.
no
Well,
matter how few options you have, there's always an option to cheat if you want. You can even go to a hooker.
Not always.
You can always go to a hooker if nothing else.
Well,
Yeah, I suppose you could always go to a hooker.
All right, we definitely are changing topics now. We are definitely
Wow.
changing topics now. Are you
be
guys
so uptight.
pissed if Kyrie and LeBron get together in LA?
No, not really. I mean,
because
I
there's
wouldn't root
talk,
for them, but I
obviously-
don't care.
You don't care,
No.
Mike?
It doesn't particularly bother me. I can't fault. Again, I know people are upset about. They're like, oh, Kyrie said he was going to leave. He was mad at LeBron, didn't want to share the spotlight and all this stuff. And what a jerk. Yeah, I mean, he's a kook. He helped get us a ring, and he's crazy's going to crazy, man. I mean, I can't believe that we're just surprised. We're like, can you believe Kyrie all of a sudden decided that maybe it was his fault back then when he was a kid and he just couldn't handle it? He admitted it and whatnot, and now I'm going to be mad at him forever. I mean, it does stink. Of course, I wish that he would have stayed and they could have kept. I mean, I think we would have won again in 2018. That
I
was
agree
a
with
weakened
that. I
Golden
think we would have
State
won in
team,
18.
and I think we would have ended up winning. And of course, that's unfortunate. But you can't look back and just hate on this dude for being a kid forever. And and he's crazy.
By
So-
the way, Jason Lloyd, who obviously knows the team as well as any, especially those teams when he was covering them regularly, said he thinks they would have won also if Kyrie had stayed. and
he
hadn't
thinks it's
screwed
going
that
to
all up.
happen too, doesn't he? Does he think this reunion is going to happen?
Yeah, well,
I do.
it
I
seems like
certainly
nobody
think
else
it's
is interested in Kyrie
No.
besides the Lakers.
Right.
So the Lakers are in a good position to get
I
him.
felt when he came out and made the comments that he made about I shouldn't have left, and I think that was the smoke
Setting this
signal
up, yeah.
to LeBron, as, you know, the sort of olive branch. Let's see how LeBron takes this.
Right.
And LeBron is still chasing rings too.
Yeah.
And can we put up the graphic that showed the one before this, the one that showed Kyrie's record with LeBron and without? Guys,
Oh, God.
we know Kyrie is a Hall of Fame caliber player.
We'll get back to the records in one sec. But
Yeah,
this is
but
also
I mean
worth
that's
pointing out.
worth pointing out too.
The UCSS research team was on its game.
That's a great stat when you look at that, the playoff series wins that he had in Cleveland and then everywhere else. But the one that really drives it home, guys, look at this. He's a sub 500 player,
Yeah.
and it's not like he's played with a bunch of chumps.
He
He's
did.
played
He did in Cleveland pre-LeBron, but since then, no.
right, but
Yeah.
I mean, but what did he do with the Nets with all of that talent around him? What
Right.
did he accomplish?
What is his record? I wonder what his record is just Boston and the Nets. It's probably over 500.
That'd be more interesting to see because
It
you're right. The reason
probably
we
is,
got
but-
Kyrie is because we were so terrible that we had the first pick in the
You're
draft.
exactly
and
right.
Put him on
But
the team.
look how much better the Celtics were after he left.
An
Yeah.
NBA champion, a finals team.
Yeah.
It's crazy, really. He is a bit of an enigma in that he is such a talent.
Right.
But I think the jury is in. He is never going to be the guy that carries a team to a title.
But is a
and I
point guard
think he
ever-
knows that too. A point guard can be. I think he can
guess
be.
Steph Curry, yeah.
But I don't think he's. I think we've all watched enough without LeBron to know
Yeah.
that he is. If he wants to win another championship, he needs to team up with LeBron again. And I have no ill feelings towards either one of those guys. They gave us a ring. I'll always have a spot in my heart for Kyrie.
Sure.
That shot is
Sure.
up there, top 3 moments all time.
Yeah.
And if LeBron is smart, they'll team up.
I got
and
no
make it
ill
happen.
feelings for LeBron either.
Yeah.
I did for Kyrie, but I'm over it at this point.
I'm with you. I did
Yeah.
too.
Kyrie
when
and
he
LeBron.
left.
Kyrie and LeBron is a story, a cautionary tale of how we basically put all our marbles in a basket, and eggs in a basket when it comes to counting championships and wins. To win a championship is so hard. You can't even win a championship if you got a bunch of 12-year-olds. How many? You go around and ask how many people have you ever won a championship in anything, basketball at any age. You have to be good. You got to have the right chemistry. You got to have good coaching.
Luck.
You got to have luck. You got to have health. You got to have ownership. And then you actually have to have, in that moment, guys that will step up and deliver. It's so doggone hard. And Kyrie is understanding that. LeBron is understanding it, right? You know, there are things people talk about Kyrie, right? At the end of the day, LeBron could have did just like this. Hey, yo, I ain't letting you leave. I'm going to come to your house. I'm going to pull up on you.
He didn't do that.
He didn't do, you know why? Because when you are young, we just talked about it kind of with Zach Wilson. When you are young, you don't never see your mortality. When you get to be 30 and 40 and 50, you start thinking a whole lot different. Like, hey, I got a bunch of cars. What am I leaving behind? I got a bunch of money, but you ain't got no kids. You know, I didn't talk to my parents when I was growing up. We didn't spend family time. They getting older. Now you want to go on vacation with your parents.
Reprioritizing.
You start thinking. So now LeBron is like, man, I thought I was going to go to L.A. and it was going to be kind of different, like, because I'm in a movie game but I'm still want to win. And Kyrie's like,
terrible.
The movie was trash. The Space Jam was trash. And then Kyrie's like, bro, I thought getting all the attention was going to be what was fulfilling. And he realized you can get all the attention in the world, have all the signature sneakers, but if you ain't winning on games and you ain't doing it at a high level, then what are we doing it for? So I think now it happens to all of them. Kevin Durant is still figuring it out, and he's thinking, man,
I think it's happened to LeBron too.
Yeah,
LeBron's been chasing rings forever.
Yeah.
You know what I think? It just dawned on me. We always talk about Tom Brady as being the GOAT quarterback, NFL. I think when it's all said and done and you're comparing legacies across sports, the reason I think Tom Brady might be the GOAT of all GOATs is because he consistently left money on the table. He could have gone to play in more glamorous places than Boston. He won rings in large part because he saw the macro, he saw the global view of his career and his legacy because he knew he was going to be great. He wanted to be all-time great. And I think he did that by saying, I'm going to take less so we can give more to my teammates, understanding the team structure and how no quarterback wins it by himself. And he's got all these rings, more than anybody's ever won.
And then after I retire, I can go to like an Apple corporate meeting and make $2 million for giving a speech.
For 2-hour speech.
And then and that's how he can make
he's
up
going
that
to
money
go
that he's
into
missing
another
now.
profession and instantly be the highest paid person in that profession. Yes. And he's never done it yet.
I would ask Tom Brady this, though, too. And if you're an athlete at any level, I don't dream, and this may seem bad, I don't dream about the day I got married. I don't dream about me going to college and graduating. I don't dream about none of that. The dreams I have when I go to sleep and close my eyes are about living and being on that field of play at the highest level that you ever been. And you realize you ain't never going back there. And when you go to sleep, them is the only times you get that feeling. Now think about it. I'm a college player. Think about what it's like for people at the highest level. I talked to Jonathan Wells. You know, I both know Jonathan Wells.
Yeah.
He talked about the feeling you get, that high. It's a high when you play and you can say that I'm the best or I'm out here. When that goes away, there's a bunch of men, grown men, trying to still figure out where they go in life after sports and what to get that high from. And it don't come.
Sorry to cut you off, G, but not to go down a whole long road on this, but that's probably why a lot of guys turn to drugs and other things, because you're trying to fill that hole, fill that void.
3 out of 4 NFL players, 5 years removed for the game, are either broke, addicted, divorced. They have some sort of major issue in their life. Yeah. And I've talked to Jonathan about this too, and I've talked to a lot of other guys about it too. I've had so many people tell me the void that they're trying to fill is not fillable.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't know it at the time they leave the game. They don't. Even if they've talked to other guys that have said, you're going to try to replace something that you cannot replace. And it's really rare in today's sports. And I don't think we should kick LeBron or Kyrie for trying to chase rings and I didn't get my credit. I'm going to go show the world I can do it by myself. I don't think we should kick them so much as that's why I bring up Tom Brady.
Right.
I hope moving forward more athletes, and we're talking about the 1% of 1%ers that even have the ability to do this, that know they can make whatever they want to make. You see these young guys, and it's become like their trophy on their mantle. I want to be the highest paid. Mahomes has to be the highest paid. Lamar has to be the highest paid. What difference does that make? You want to drop the mic when the game is over.
Right.
And you do that like Tom Brady having a jewelry chest full of Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
So, okay, in the micro, you took less. You could have made more. At what point is there a difference between $25 million a year and $35 million a year?
None.
Baker Mayfield.
Right. Yeah.
At what point?
There's none.
What are you going to buy with that extra $10 million over 4
Right.
years
You
that you
can't
can't already buy?
And you consider that
Legacy.
but yes, you consider not taking that money and having that money to spend on other players and tools around you and stuff like that.
And
That
that's
is
what
an
Tom did.
investment. That's
Yes.
an
Yeah.
investment. in
Tom
your
said,
future.
instead of putting the Maserati motor in a Volkswagen body, I'm going to go with the Porsche motor, and I'm going to go with the Mercedes body. And so we're spreading it out. I've always respected him because he's had a global view of team.
Yeah.
I think he's only one time in his career been the highest paid player on his team. Think about that.
It's very rare for a player to take less money, and we have a player right
He's the
here who's done
exception.
it, Jose Ramirez.
We did. You're absolutely
Twice.
right.
Twice.
You're absolutely right.
He cost
Twice he's
himself
given
a
this
ton of
team
money.
a hometown discount. Good talk. I think
thought so.
we don't hate LeBron. We don't
No.
hate Kyrie. I think if they win one in LA, will it be tough to watch them?
Yeah,
cut
that
nets?
will be.
Yeah,
I don't want them to win, but
I do.
Betty
I don't
LeBron.
care that they're going together, but I don't want them to win.
As long as they don't win, you're okay
Yeah.
with it.
But think
Yes.
about how weird this would be. So this past year, Golden State wins with that team from 2016, like a lot of pieces from it.
Yeah.
And the next year, what if LeBron and Kyrie win? In the next one, the team that won in 2016 wins
Right.
with the Lakers the next year.
Because by the way, you said
Would that not be weird?
No, that's a good point.
because Kevin Love is already practicing with LeBron. I'm gonna tell you what, if Kyrie goes, they will trade Kevin Love
To the Lakers.
Deladova's working out again for the Kings. Let's get the whole squad back together in LA.
Yep.
What about
Taylor
Mozgov?
Smith?
What
Now
about
that I'm going to have a
Mozgov?
problem with. If
Mozgov.
Mozgov comes back,
The
I'm
Russian
I'm
giant.
pissed.
The Russian giant is right now. He is stirring in his giant bed
Every
right
time,
now.
every time y'all say that, I remember that commercial, and I'm like, y'all
We
can't
should
play
show that every day.
I know.
You can't
We
play
should
that.
Really just for the girl, not for him.
Yeah, we should show that.
Damn,
That's
bro.
my favorite local
Oh
commercial.
my God! All right, good bet, bad bet.
Lisa, you are
Good
my favorite
bit.
daytime bartender. You really raise the seal.
Favorite daytime
She was
bartender.
worth going
That's
to
the
that
best.
bar for. She
Yeah.
was.
Does she still work there?
No.
No.
I mean, I haven't gone in
Bull
years.
Bull
Right.
knew. Nope.
I
She's,
just
now
checked-
she's down in.
I checked last week.
She's
having her mail forwarded
I
to
know
a
this is
P.O.
a
box.
serious. I know this is a serious sports show, but if I can book
is?
Lisa, the daytime bartender, from
Do
the.
it.
Can I get her on the show? Can she be a
Yes.
guest?
Oh my God! Absolutely, right?
I'm gonna
Right,
hunt her
we
down.
We would
If we can get her, we will take her absolutely.
All right.
because
That's
I
good to hear.
guarantee you she has some really valuable and funny behind-the-scenes stories
Yeah.
about the shoot.
Even if she doesn't, it would still be fun. Just to
It would
bring
still
her
be
on.
worth having her on.
I'll reenact it with her over there too.
And this is how the show
She's going to
slows.
class up the set. I can promise you
No
that.
doubt.
You see how this trail goes? They be like, man, best sport. I gotta watch that because they got a lot of great guests. Too.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
And then
Hey,
here
there's-
comes Lisa, the daytime bartender, from
I-
the
hey.
brew garden.
Yeah.
If we ever go with a bar in studio, maybe she could be our studio bartender.
Love it.
She's the
It's-
best
we are
daytime
daytime.
bartender in
Yes.
Cleveland.
And we are daytime.
If this were at night, we couldn't hire her.
No.
She's trash. But at night, she's a terrible nighttime bartender.
Yeah, but boy, when
Yeah.
it
During
comes
the
to serving
day?
those daytime clients.
Yep.
Thankfully.
Okay, good bet, bad bet.
Good bet,
I
bad
don't
bet.
even know where we are in the standings.
It is close. Let's
I
take
think
the
all last
standings.
week I was sending you my picks, but never followed up on any of
Yep,
them.
you stayed right afloat. Everyone went 2-1
Okay.
yesterday, so no change in the
Brad's
direction.
a
The thing you
disaster.
missed,
Everybody else is doing
Brad
well.
is 1-11 in his last 12 picks. 1-11. He went 0 for
How's that
9,
possible?
0 for 9. He had
And
3
then-
straight collars.
3 straight days, 0 for 3, and then went 1 for 2 his last appearance on Monday.
Guys, we're burying the lead here, though. Mike Polk, what are you doing? How are
It's
you
the
doing
suit.
this?
I'm wearing a suit jacket. I'm a professional gambler, obviously. I love that we're just using my station headshot for that.
No. Can we please?
no. I like the
Listen,
tux.
I like that. It was good for the first couple of months. But can we please replace that with Mike and the cat?
Yeah.
With the
Oh, yeah,
glasses.
we gotta do that.
when we get tag board,
That's
it's
the
coming
greatest
along.
picture
Anthony's
ever.
giving me
Wait a
thumbs
minute.
up.
We don't
Yes.
have tag board yet?
We've been hearing about tag board for a month.
It's up. We just every
Is
time
that a
we
new
plan on
energy
testing
drink?
it,
What's
Baker
tag
gets
board?
traded, stuff comes up, so we haven't had a chance to test it,
Tag
but
board
it
is
is
an
ready.
integration system, right? That's going to allow us to put all the social stuff
Yes,
on our.
it just will be a lot quicker. But every time we plan on trying it, Baker
Okay,
got
so in
traded.
February,
so
when we get
it's
this
coming.
tag
I'm
board.
kidding. I don't give a damn that I'm in a suit at all.
No, but
So-
we want to see it. Though.
I want to see
love
Mike
that
and the
picture.
cat.
Great.
That is the absolute funniest picture ever. It's
horrifying.
It never fails
I still
to
can't
crack
believe
me
it's
up.
actually him.
I'm using that one for my obituary. Just so you know. I already have it laid out. My will is ridiculous, by the way, and that's one of
Do
the.
we get any insight?
Yeah, will you read that on
I'll
air?
tell you. Now, maybe at some point I will, but it's kind of some of it's personal. I'm making my friends do some pretty terrible things once I die, like to honor me, or else my soul can't rest. I made it very clear.
Really?
It's very elaborate.
Please read that.
I will. I'll bring it in sometime.
Does
I'd have to skip some parts. But
yeah, I imagine you would.
But there's some stuff that people would enjoy. Yeah. Everyone should prepare their will and make it as weird as possible.
I've read obituaries that were written by
the person
that died, and in very funny, tongue-in-cheek kind of, and it actually achieved the goal that they were going for.
Sure.
Don't be sad that I'm gone.
Right.
Share a laugh.
I know this is like it's mild hack joke, but I still like it. I still like when the one dude a few years ago, pre-Baker obviously, Browns fan, said that he wanted a bunch of Browns to be his pallbearers at his funeral because he wanted them to let him down one more time.
That's great.
That is
very good.
I'm like, good for him. Going
That's
out.
good. Okay, good bet, bad bet. Where are we?
Well, the Guardians got a doubleheader today.
Yeah.
So this is for game 1. Bieber's on the mound. They're favored by a 1.5.
Yeah, I struggled with this one, guys.
I was leaning towards bad.
I was too.
Bad. We sink or swim together, boys.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
right.
everybody.
Go Guards.
Yep.
So now game 2. It's the opposite.
Oh,
Underdog
Jay's going for the
by a
sweep.
1.5.
Yeah. See, I like the fact that they're getting, and I like the pitching. Who are we throwing?
No,
Pilkington versus Cease.
It's
Dylan Cease has been lights
I
out.
still like Pilkington.
And it's the
Pilk.
The
Yeah,
Pilk's
I
on
like
the
him.
mound.
I do. I like him.
He's a very oddly shaped man.
He doesn't look like a pitcher.
Yeah, I don't even know if he doesn't look like a pitcher. He's just like his proportions are strange. He's got like a weird curvature to his. I can't explain him. He's a big dude. But he's a
you guys
weird
remember
looking.
Sid Fernandez?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great pitcher.
Sid was hippie, like really hippie.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like this
Yeah.
from behind.
Like Randy Johnson had a weird body, but it made sense to me.
Yeah.
It's not like big fat pitchers that makes sense to me. But he's like this in between. I'm like, are you strong? Are you? I can't understand. Are you fat and you're hiding it? I don't know what Pilk is. But anyways, I don't think he's gonna win today.
Okay, and then the third one.
And the third one. We did a game 1 bet. We did a game 2 bet. Let's do a combo bet. Over 12.5 total runs in the doubleheader for the Guardians. This was a true 2-2 split.
Yeah, I think both games will be low scoring today.
I mean, they would have to be the winning team scores 3 runs.
No,
or
over
that
12
bet-
for just the Guardians.
Oh, is that just the Guardians?
Yeah, it was just the Guardians.
I
Their
misread
combined
that.
total.
I didn't. I just made a bad call.
Yeah, they're not scoring 12. They're not scoring 13 runs in 2 games. Yeah, that's bad.
I just looked at the text I sent. I did
change that?
clarify that right. You just misread it. No offense.
Listen, hey, it won't be the first time I misread something. I'm practically illiterate.
So, question real
There's some
quick.
great sound bites from this show, by the way.
my
One of them
God.
is I'd kill for Mitch Trubisky, and then I'm practically illiterate.
Another
And
one
then
was, I'm not
What if
even
it's
going
a
to repeat
I
it.
love
threesome with the
Russia.
mom?
Suggesting a threesome with incest. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
This is gonna be
And
a
then
fun
he
one
had
to cut
another.
up.
He had another. With,
Jay said he loved Russia one day.
Yeah.
Stand for Russia.
Yeah, I did. I stand with Russia. I think more than anything, I'm glad that to stream, you
Yeah.
don't need a license.
Yeah,
Because I
fair
think
enough.
we probably would have had it
We could
revoked
have been
once
in
or
some
twice.
trouble.
Come get us.
Okay.
So, question real quick.
Nobody works harder than the FCC. We know that.
We have time. Do we want to do the Guardians' untouchable prospects now, or do we want to save it because we'll get into it more another day? Because I think this is a topic that we can really expand
Well, if we didn't do that, though, where would we go? I'm running out of
Well, we
bullets
still
here.
have final takes, top 5, and an unathletic submission I had from last night at the Guardians.
Well,
Yeah.
let's table the trades then.
We'll save that for the next. But let's also mention that with the Guardians in mind, because we're going to talk about them in a sec. If you want to check out the Guardians, we have the prize package for you. We're talking about a grand prize of a 4-pack of tickets, a Guardians baseball hat, and a player autographed baseball. We're also giving away 2 other 4-packs of tickets for the August 5th game against the Houston Astros. For your chance to win, go to wkyc.com/contest and click on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show Guardians giveaway. Act fast. We're announcing a winner on July 25th. So please check it out.
I love that they don't
Submit,
mention
apply.
who the player is. Could be the Pilk. Could be Jose Ramirez.
Could be
you
Owen
don't know.
Miller.
Could be, yeah.
Could be Austin Hedges.
And that's part of the fun.
Could be straw.
Could be Straw. Could be Austin Hedges. Wouldn't that be exciting?
My buddy.
I wonder how
that's a
awkward
cool
it would
prize.
be if we ever had Austin Hedges in studio.
Well, I would
We're trying
admit,
really hard. For
I
the
would
record.
have to admit
Are
that
we?
I've been
We're working on it.
I would have
I'd be
to
afraid
admit
he'd
that I've
walk in
been
the door
rough
and
on
punch
him.
Bull in the face.
No,
Ratings
listen, I'm giving my
galore.
criticism of him as a player. I didn't say he's a bad human being.
I'll tell you, I interviewed him last year
Yeah.
for a thing I did.
Probably a
on
nice
Channel
guy,
3.
right?
I couldn't have liked him anymore.
Yeah.
But what
And his
am I
teammates
supposed to
love
do?
him.
He can't hit. It's not my
He's a
fault.
catcher
He
hitting
can't
180. You got to be nice, right? I mean,
gotta
it's
have-
not like
That's
what
a
if he was
pre-
a
that's a
jerk?
prerequisite.
I give him his credit. He's a good defensive player, but
Yeah.
you
What
know.
if he was a jerk? That wouldn't make any sense. If
You know, here's the thing. When he walks away from the game,
Yeah,
he's going to have a career as a professional baseball player.
that's a great accomplishment.
Sure.
It is.
He deserves to be in the majors, but he should be a backup catcher, not a starter.
Okay.
He was on
That's
Chris
fair.
Rose's podcast, by the way. Chris
Yeah, was
Rose,
he?
UCSS guest. He was great on the podcast. He's phenomenal.
Listen,
speaker.
he was
I'd be
he
happy
was
to
a
bring
great
him on,
interview.
and I will be honest that I've been very critical of his offense. I will be totally honest with him.
So that would be a ratings bonanza.
But yeah, let's do it.
And you might get an
I'm not gonna
autographed
shy away
shirt from
that.
him if you enter our contest to win Guardians
The
tickets.
giveaway is great. 3 winners, 1 grand prize winner. It's,
Yeah,
it's
and
our
it's a
first
great- it's a great-
contest. Thanks to the Guardians for
Yes,
doing
the
this
Guardians
with us.
made the tickets and all
this,
that stuff
This is
available.
awesome. Real quick on the Guardians, because I know we're going to table this conversation. And I don't get carried away by early success, but I've always been a big Nolan Jones
where you're
guy.
going. I'm with you.
And I love what I've seen from him through 4 games. Don't pinch hit for him against lefties. He's got to play both ways
Yep,
right now.
I agree with that, but I have been he's been in the pipeline for a while.
Yeah.
And it was so good to see him come up and have immediate success.
Yes.
Doesn't mean it's going to translate long term.
Right.
Yeah.
But my goodness. And you know, I always say I tend not to look at the numbers, but plate discipline and swing mechanics and
The ball's exploding off his
goodness.
bat.
Yeah,
I mean,
But I feel the
Love
same way
him.
you do. I almost don't want to. He is looking great. I don't want to curse at this point, like it's a
Right.
no-hitter or something like that.
Right.
I got to see some more because we
Of
we have
course,
a
lot
tendency to
more.
get excited.
Yes.
You know,
Well, we went nuts over Stephen Kwan, and Stephen, his average has been
right.
okay.
But Nolan Jones was a much more what's the word I'm looking for?
vaunted.
he was a prospect.
vaunted
He was
prospect.
I think his second-round pick.
Yeah.
With
At one
a
point, he
lot
was the
of
top
potential.
prospect of the organization.
Yes.
His star has dropped a little because he didn't play in 20 and he struggled last year, but he was killing it in the minors.
These always scare me because I remember
Yeah,
Kevin
yeah.
Moss.
the 1936 comparisons.
yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's hanging with Roy Weatherly.
I mean,
Woo-hoo.
and what a career Weatherly went on to have.
High praise.
See, this is
Well, I got my Weatherly jersey.
This is why I don't go to bars and talk to people who think they know sports. That's the conversation. Boy, I tell you what a great player. I used to watch him play.
Weatherly? Oh,
Yeah.
You know you 25, bro.
They don't make it
Yeah,
like
right.
that anymore.
So we'll get back to the Guardians discussion because I think it is worth a 10, 15-minute
Yeah.
discussion. There's
Yeah.
a lot of really good prospects in the system.
I have him, by the way, in my don't touch.
A couple of y'all did. So we will get to
Yeah.
that. I promise that we will revisit that. But last night I went to the Guardians game.
Yay!
Got a cheap ticket in the outfield. It was
You've
beautiful.
been
And I saw.
you've really invested in the Guardians, right?
I've been to 4 games this year now.
Got a lot of free
Yeah.
time, sounds
Yeah.
like.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Give him more work.
Got to keep ourselves entertained. And I saw something amazing. And I remember we pitched to Jason. Let's pull it up. The Unathletic. And we haven't done a segment. I think we haven't talked about it until last night. I saw Steve cut to the next one. You have to see the visual. I took pictures. It was amazing. Take a look at this guy. I don't know if you can see the ski goggles he's wearing.
Oh, yeah.
And the cowboy boots. My man went up and down section 180 bleachers at least 13 times for beer.
Wow.
He didn't fall once.
That's impressive.
And I
Even
want
after
to
the
commend
13th
him.
beer.
He was hammered by the second inning, belligerently drunk, and continued to walk up and down the stairs in these cowboy boots. He stumbled, but he never fell.
Why didn't you take video of it
American
just
hero.
in case?
Because if he did notice me taking a video,
Yeah.
that's the kind of guy that would have tried to fight me, and I wasn't trying to get kicked out of the
I
Guardians
understand.
game.
You weren't
So
trying to get your
I
ass
snuck
kicked.
pictures.
Good point.
in.
Mike's not
I
a
have
big-
live photos where you could actually see him walking. I'll show y'all after. I couldn't figure out how to get live
Yeah.
photos on. Seriously, I was amazed. I started making bets with the people behind me. Like, is he going to fall? He must have had 14, 15 tall boys. It was
Hey.
unbelievable.
All for himself.
Wow.
Like
He
wasn't-
looked like he had 14
Was
or
he
15 tall
yelling at
boys.
people?
I'm assuming
You said
he was drinking it.
belligerent.
Yeah, was he screaming?
Was he going after
Yeah,
people?
he was yelling at AJ Pollock in left field trying to.
That's acceptable.
In left field trying to rally him. AJ did
By
not
the way, G,
turn around whatsoever.
as our resident fashion expert, is it acceptable to wear cowboy boots and shorts?
And ski goggles. You have
Not
to
as a
mention the ski
dude.
goggles.
I don't
a-
want to
as-
see a dude in that.
As a woman in a country bar, sure.
That's hot.
yeah,
That's-
or a Florida State Seminoles game.
Right, yeah.
Like
Right.
absolutely,
But
we
for a
welcome that.
man like from Cleveland, that's unacceptable.
No, those are like deer stalkers too. Those are cowboy / deer hunting boots.
Yeah, are those true cowboy boots?
don't
They do
know.
look like they're camo.
They camoed
like,
out.
They
Right.
were some sort of pattern, but I lived in
no,
Texas.
no.
They're definitely cowboy boots.
Are those jorts? or not? They kind
no,
of
I don't remember them being jorts. Steve can pull it
great
back
word
up, bring
jorts
that back
is.
in the words of
awesome.
Brad Sellers, but I don't think they were. But it was, I'm telling you, the fact that he made it up and down those stairs, because he was up top of 180. There was a lot of stairs. He didn't fall
What's he
once.
doing?
And
Sit-
kudos to
sit
my
down
man.
lower.
It would have been a lot
Kudos.
better if he would have
And
fallen.
here's the thing: you got to I'm gonna ask him the question. See, I'm an OU. I was inducted into the Drinking Hall of Fame in 2017.
Yeah, that's job, man.
What kind of bag do you got to get drunk at the Guardians game?
Yeah.
He's doing all right.
I mean, you must got a decent little
so
job.
$100
What are
for
those?
a
$25?
The tall boys were $13.50. I know from experience.
And he said he had he'd have made 13 trips.
So he
up and
spent about
down.
$200 on Tall Boys
Oh
when he
my
could have stayed at
God.
home, watched it on TV, and spent $20.
Or got Jack Daniels ready and then and go ahead and pregame and then got up there and took two and top you off.
Oh, we got a close-up.
Amateur hour.
Oh, there you go. Good job, Steve.
That is weird.
This is like the Zapruder film. By the way, if anybody watching knows this guy, reach out
Please
to
reach
us.
out. Yeah, I would love to
Yeah,
talk
because
to
we'd
him.
like to talk to how he trains.
Yeah.
What's his regimen? Clearly, this guy is in mid-season form here.
I have no issues with this guy. If he didn't start any actual fist fights and he's only yelling at the opposing players and he's just partying and manages to get up and down those stairs and wears whatever the hell he wants,
No,
good on
he's-
you, brother.
as long as it's
Clevelander.
good fun, not like I'm going to kill your mother or stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, listen, this is not
Who
a
yells
shot
that
at
at a
him.
ball game?
I'm giving him credit
was a-
for
oh,
accomplishing
kill
something
your
very
mother.
impressive.
I was
New
at the-
York fans.
I was at the Cubs-Pirates wild card game in 2015.
Yeah.
And there was a guy sitting behind me. Jake Arrieta was pitching for the Cubs. There was a guy sitting behind me, and he screams, "Hey, Arrieta, I'm going to come down to the field and slit your throat."
Wow, it's so specific.
And I just turned around like,
What a heckle.
Are you crazy? And
is
eventually,
very specific.
The funny thing was, though, he got kicked out of the game. Some Pirates fans actually turned him in.
Oh, nice.
And as he was being pulled out of the game, he started crying.
Well, he had a lot going on. That guy had some bigger issues.
Oh, he was wasted. I mean, he was hammered. but-
Crying.
Like, slit his
Crying in
throat.
baseball?
Of course not.
Okay.
We got to do top five, then final takes, and top fives is the best baseball stadiums in the country. So
Now that's a good
this
one.
this was a good one, inspired by my trip to Progressive Field. But as
Did we
always,
do that? I thought you'd done that one.
I think his favorites. No, that's college stadiums.
we did
football
college stadiums. We have not done baseball
Yeah, we
stadiums.
haven't
The
done-
Okay.
Ultimate Five, though, is sponsored by Roundstone Insurance. Roundstone offers a better alternative for affordable quality health care for more than a decade. Roundstone Insurance has been saving small and mid-sized businesses money, an average of 20%. Yeah, 20%. Contact us today to learn how you can get great health care benefits that your employees will love and save money, too. And G. Bush, I
Smile,
love
bro.
when you smile on
I
these
do
ad
too.
reads.
It's my
It is-
favorite.
it's
When
the
he
best part of the
smiles,
whole thing,
it
yeah.
just kills me.
All right, so let's run through this. So we got final takes. Number 5, Yankee Stadium. The old Yankee Stadium would have been higher. The new Yankee Stadium, not as good, but still an iconic.
I hate
No,
the
it's
Yankee
not
Stadium.
iconic.
I hate it. I hate the new
It's
one.
not iconic at all. That's a bad
The
job
old
on
one was
you.
iconic.
Of course the old one was.
New one.
The new
like
one
a church.
sucks.
It's
It's still Yankee Stadium.
No, it's not, because it's not Yankee Stadium, because
It is.
they pulled down Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I hate the new one.
That's a terrible job out of you. That place has no feel.
No.
It's
no
like
charm,
walking into a museum.
No charm. It's like that's why I said
Yeah.
it's like a church.
Yeah, it sucks.
It
awful.
still has Monument Park, though. It's still, I mean,
Nah, it's got no personality.
Listen,
The
You're
old
biased.
one, you walked in the
old one
and
would have been
even-
way higher.
I hate the
The old one
Yankees.
would have been way
I
higher.
walk in the old one no matter what, even if it was for a playoff game or whatever. I goosebumps.
Yeah, no doubt.
everywhere.
No
Knowing
doubt.
the history that happened in that
Yes.
building, and I walk in the new one now, and I'm like, they traded the old one for the new one.
Sucks.
They got job.
And look at the front couple row seats. People are always like in some back area drinking. There's nobody ever sitting there, especially because you got to be a zillionaire to sit in those front seats. There's no atmosphere at all.
Yeah.
Number 5
Mixed
came,
feelings about your first pick.
number 5 came down to Yankee Stadium or Petco Park.
I love Petco.
I've never been to Petco,
Petco's
but
awesome.
it looks amazing.
I love Petco.
I have been at Petco. It was great. All right, let's go number 4 here.
Okay.
Oracle Park in San Francisco. It used to be
Never
Pac
been.
Bell
Neither
out
It
there.
looks amazing.
Covey Cove in right field.
Yeah, I haven't
The
been.
whole setup, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful.
Where did you sit? Did you sit in the cove or out?
I said
right
on
field?
the first baseline, not in the Cove. but
Yeah.
on the first baseline.
I mean,
Never been there, but it looks incredible.
It does look
I mean,
incredible.
Anytime you get to see Barry Bonds hit balls in the water, like, dude, that was freaking awesome. Man.
Yeah.
And by the way, no one else, we don't even know if anybody else hit any home runs past that. Like, I don't know any Dodger or Giants guys.
I don't think there's any kayakers hanging out in the
Nah,
Cubbies
ain't
Cove
nobody
anymore.
out there no more.
But that was one of the coolest things in sports
That
while
was
it was
awesome.
going
yeah,
on.
Yeah.
yeah.
We all remember ESPN would break in
Yep.
for his every single at bat, and there'd be 50 kayaks out there just waiting to see a ball come over a wall.
And him in there all the time.
It's unbelievable.
Waiting for the steroids to do their work.
The days of just having the Andro right there and just getting your
HGH, everybody was
Bring it
using
back.
it.
Bring it
clearing
back.
the cream.
The good old days.
Bring back
Make
the
Andrew
juice.
great again.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's a good one. That would be on my top 5 for sure.
All right, number 3. The team's terrible, but I do think it's an absolutely gorgeous
Yeah,
stadium.
beautiful.
PNC Park.
And I
the
hate
whole
to-
cityscape.
I hate to give 'em credit
We hate
for it.
Pittsburgh on this show, but it is an absolutely gorgeous baseball stadium.
Of all the modern parks that I've been to, PNC is my favorite.
It's a great park.
I haven't been to all of them, obviously.
No argument whatsoever.
Yeah, at least they have that going for them in Pittsburgh.
The view-
their team's awful, but at least
the view from the seats is amazing.
Really cool.
It's just like it's great sight lines all over the place. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
They had to make it aesthetically pleasing though, because the team's so bad.
Yeah, so basically, it's like a beautiful restaurant with terrible food.
Gilded cage, guys.
Come on in, enjoy the scenery.
Yep.
Don't write a review on our food.
Don't fail here, Mikey.
Well,
Don't
Yeah,
listen,
this is-
there's
a lot is expected of you
There's
right
a
now.
tier here. I think 1 and 2, it's the order that you could argue, but I think it's a pretty clear
All right, we
tier.
know where
There's
you're
no
going.
argument, which is number
Yeah,
one.
I agree with you on this. I know where you're going.
Well, I talked to my dad. Me and my dad went back and forth on this one, so I hope you guys agree with me and my dad. Number 2, Fenway Park.
All right,
okay.
you got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Fenway's
it absolutely
amazing. I've sat.
Yep.
I went to school in Boston. I sat all over Fenway. There's a couple of bad angles to sit at. Not the perfect viewing experience, but
right. Definitely bad angles.
it is an unbelievable atmosphere within the ballpark.
Did Pops co-sign this? Because I imagine he's a Red Sox fan, right?
No, my dad's a Yankee fan.
Oh, he's a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Your jersey.
Yeah, I just went to school in Boston.
So this was easy for him
Yeah,
to
so
say,
let's
I'm
take
not
number
putting
1
Fenway
here.
number 1.
Wrigley Field.
Yeah,
No
this
doubt.
is no argument whatsoever.
It is with the Ivy. I think the Ivy might be the single coolest individual feature of any stadium in sports.
The scoreboard, too, is pretty amazing. They've modernized it a little bit, but you still have the scoreboard is mostly still old school.
yeah.
It's so cool.
The Ivy is holding most of that stadium together at this point. Though, really,
Yeah,
if you look at it.
they've refurbished it a lot.
I
They
know.
put new
What
seats.
would happen? Would you go to jail if you put a virus on the Ivy and it died?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no
Well,
doubt.
that's like didn't
Auburn.
Ole Miss
good
Auburn,
idea.
Auburn.
Yeah.
The tree.
Yeah, they poisoned it in Toomer's Corner. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy went to jail.
Yes,
I'll
he
get you
did.
the exact details in a sec, but he
Yes,
got
he
it.
did.
That hero went
He
to
went-
jail.
he went
Nobody
to jail.
from January 6th.
By the way,
went
I
to
haven't been there either, but I would have put Dodger Stadium over Yankee Stadium.
I would have put Dodgers in there too.
Yeah.
The old
I like
Yankee
Dodgers.
Stadium would probably be like number 3 for me.
Yeah.
But Dodger Stadium is so cool.
I actually had a terrible experience at Dodger Stadium when I was out in LA.
I like
yeah,
Cincinnati's ballpark
something-
too.
No, Great
yeah.
Great American is definitely top 10.
I like that.
What happened at Dodgers that you didn't like, Mike?
it was so hot. I got stuck in traffic leaving the stadium. It was just too.
Oh, you
it was
left in the
too
5th inning
much.
too?
Yeah.
Right.
What?
You left in the 5th inning too?
Actually,
Everybody
yeah.
leaves, or everybody gets there late and
Yeah.
leaves early.
It was like 107 degrees out. There was no. It just was not. And maybe it's not fair to judge it off one experience, but the other ones were all based off a minimum of one experience too. So
Yeah.
I didn't have the greatest experience out. LA was not my scene. I didn't love LA.
Yeah, LA is just it's.
I was
just-
way too broke to be in LA.
Yeah, you've got to
LA's
be
a fun-
fake, rich, and typically not on a time schedule.
Yeah, I mean, LA,
Like,
the city itself is,
overrated.
I stayed.
but I do like Dodger Stadium.
I stayed once on vacation, like on the coast, south of LA. I can't remember the name of it. Rancho Palos Verdes. And we had a beautiful vacation there, but
I like old school.
G. Bush, real quick, I got an update for you. Harvey Updike was sentenced to 3 years in prison for poisoning Toomer's Corner trees at Auburn.
have you guys been to Wrigley, by the way, you two?
I have, yes.
No.
Did you like your experience?
Yeah, it was great. I had terrible seats, but I wanted to say that I went, and I was
Yeah.
there with some friends.
Bush,
We would
go.
sit separately.
Take some time, like, even if it's just a weekend and you go up there.
Yeah.
You got to go, man.
I've been to 3 of those, actually.
Such
I
a
love-
great atmosphere.
It is.
The
It's-
whole
it's
area.
unlike anything
and-
else, and you're going to go into it with this high expectation. It's
Yeah.
one of the few things in sports that you go into with a really high expectation, but
Yeah.
exceeds it. I obviously it's not a major league park, but my favorite place to watch a baseball game is still Williamsport. And I always tell everybody, if you're a baseball fan and it's
Yeah.
not on your bucket list, throw it on there. It's last 2 weeks of August. It's it's in the middle of nowhere, which sucks. It's really hard to
Been
get
there
to.
many
There's no
times.
easy way to get there.
Yeah.
But it's just little kids playing on major league quality fields
Yeah.
for the love of the game.
When I was doing minor league play-by-play 20 years ago, one of the teams in the league was the Williamsport Crosscutters.
Oh, okay.
So we would go there, and they were in our division, so we'd go there all the time.
Yeah.
The stadium that they play in is, if it's still around, I'm not sure if it is 20 years later, it was, I think, the oldest professional baseball stadium in the country,
Wow.
or it's been around forever. But then going to the Little League fields, I mean, it's just it's just
Tremendous.
mind-blowing.
Quick local shout out to League Park. If you haven't been there, go
Yes.
see League Park. That's an
Yep.
awesome, a lot of history there. I was
Very
just
good.
there a month ago for a shoot and stuff, and they keep it really nice. It's right in the middle of the city too, which is very cool.
Yeah.
And check it out if you haven't seen it. They got
Yeah,
a cool
absolutely.
museum there too.
Mike, you want to do final takes?
Let's do final takes, and let's tease a giant guest coming up tomorrow at the
Yeah.
end. So let's do final
Ooh.
takes.
Oh, yeah,
and
we've
we'll
got
tease a
that's
massive
on
guest.
tomorrow's show.
A massive guest
Yeah.
tomorrow.
He's in a one-man club. And
He
in
is
sports,
one of one.
in sports, there's very few folks that can say they're one of one.
Yes,
But our
absolutely.
guest tomorrow is, and he is worthy of being one of one. He's a great guy, great resume.
We'll tell you about him in a sec, but let's get
Yeah.
the final
Okay.
takes so we get everyone in.
All right,
Polk has a
guys.
special
So I was
one.
going to talk about something else, but because we mentioned Wrigley Field, I'm going to flash back to a experience I had just outside of Wrigley Field. So anybody that knows me knows I'm not a drinker. I have been drunk since college 2 times. Once at my bachelor party and once at Wrigley Field. It was one of the first times I'd ever been to Wrigley Field, and I went with a couple of good friends, and we were drinking at Wrigley, you get old-style beer. Mm-hmm. And those things go down fast.
Those are nice.
Okay, I don't know how many I drank, but I was hammered. So we're after the game, we're wandering down the street, and who do I see? Jeff Garland. You guys know who Jeff Garland is?
Sure.
The actor from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Larry David's agent.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a comedian as
Right,
well.
right. Yep.
So I see Jeff Garland, and I'm wasted. And I'm like, dude, Curb Your Enthusiasm. You're the man.
But he loved it.
And you would have thought that, right?
Right.
He goes, no, you're the man. And he runs up and gives me a hug.
great.
He hugged me. And I was wasted. He should have been running in the other direction. But he
That's
didn't.
great.
He hugged me. He was awesome. Years later, I was in L.A., and I saw him in a Jewish deli. I can't even remember the name of the place, but I didn't go up to him. And I regret that.
Oh, you
It's a big-
absolutely should have gone up to
The
him.
reason I didn't is because I think he was sitting with his son.
Yeah.
It seemed like his son.
Yep.
And I just didn't want to interrupt father-son time.
You also weren't going to top that first experience.
Exactly.
That's the
Because
irony.
anyway, I would have been like, remember me? I was the drunk guy in
But you know what? He would have
Chicago."
remembered that.
Yeah.
You don't
He
forget
probably would have, and I should have, and it's a big regret that I never went back.
Yeah, that's-
But Jeff Garland was awesome. Shout out to him.
But, and just so you know, I think that
Yeah.
what we just proved is that you just need to get drunk more. Seems like
I-
great things happen.
It
You got
does.
married and you met
Yeah.
Jeff Garland based on the only
It
2
is.
times you got drunk in the last 27
college.
years. You know?
Let's
Yeah.
go on after the show.
Yeah, let's go.
I want on.
Let's-
The Guardians are starting in 2 minutes.
Let's
True.
go. What are we
Doubleheader.
waiting for? Why are we sitting here?
Yeah,
All
no
right,
kidding.
real quick, guys. Got to give a little advice, actually, to my friends at NASA. Love NASA. Love the James Webb Telescope. They just released their first images of this telescope yesterday. $10 billion we spent on this bad boy.
Woo.
And that was 20 years in the making, and those are very, it looks really cool, right? Doesn't it? It's neat. But they hyped it up too much, in my opinion. We were hearing about this for weeks. And I'll tell you, when I heard about that we were going to see these pictures, I was as excited as Zach Wilson on the nights that his mom hosted book club.
Is that a thing?
But then, I don't know. But then what happened?
I might start reading.
But then what happened was they released these photos after hyping them up way too much, and then it looks like something that I could take with my iPhone, put an Instagram filter on, and I didn't just spend $10 billion.
It does.
And that's the problem. Technology is too advanced, NASA. You guys, you're in the dust. We've got like surround sound, and we've got these IMAX movies now that can make us feel like we're inside. We got VR gaming, and you guys are like, look at this picture we took of the sky, and then look, it's all shiny. It looks way better than the Hubble one, doesn't it? Nobody cares. And you guys shouldn't have oversold it. Because I want you to keep doing your work. I think you should get all the money in the world that you need for your research. I know how important it is, but you know how people think. Look at that. Come on now, everybody. That looks like the background to like an 8th grade picture that you could choose.
Looks like
You know
my
what I
light
mean?
bright when I was
exactly.
12.
And it is amazing. I'm sure there's stuff in there that physicists and astronomers can see that I can't. But what I'm saying is, next time you hype up these pictures you're going to show us for a couple of weeks, I better see like some ant colonies alien situation going on Venus or something like that, because it takes a lot more to get our attention these days and to sustain it. That's the kind of world that we live in. Pretty pictures, but keep your powder dry next time, NASA. That's just a little bit of marketing advice right there.
Yeah,
Well
that's
said.
good marketing.
Yeah, well
Do we
said.
know what that was? It's just general.
It's just
idea.
really clear. It's a really clear image like we've never seen before of the the Kuiper Belt or whatever it's called, like our solar system that we are in.
Are we going to at some point get better pictures, like close-ups.
Well, we know exactly what these things
This is
are.
the tease. This is the tease. This is like their first one. They're of course saying we've got other ones. I'm telling you, they better be really amazing.
I thought it was a picture of my microphone after I was doing a radio show while eating.
Right. No, that could be mistaken for that as well.
Sprinkles at Dairy Queen.
It is exciting, but honestly, just wait until we see aliens before we want to hear from you again.
Well,
That's a good point.
Fair.
I'm going to just freestyle and just go off of what you just said about aliens. I always talk about people all the time. I'm a big space guy. By the way, those pictures are very crisp, by the way. Just take a look at the other ones that we got like 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Garbage.
Aliens. So let's talk about it a little bit. Aliens, I always ask myself, why aliens only show up in deserted fields? Why they only do crop circles? Usually I like to even out my theories, and usually all types of people should be able to find these phenomena happening. We're Area 51, got all these good people. But why don't the aliens ever show up in the middle of the hood? I don't see no aliens in the middle of the project. They don't never show up in Chicago or South Central LA and just post up and be like, yo, greetings humans, we got some stuff to tell you about the cosmos. It don't never happen. It's always some lady named Kate and John Amos that lives in Iowa or somewhere in Kansas that swear they got abducted. It should be a nice general sample size of abducted people. There should be a nice sample size of black people, which are represented. There should be some people, white people. There should be some Spanish people. There should be some Jewish people, maybe even Asian people. But it just seems that John and Susie Amos are the only people getting visited by extraterrestrial people. I need to start seeing them pull up on us in Chicago, in different places where there's gang activity.
Fair point.
Space alien
Are the aliens racist?
They might be too. We lack diversity in alien abductions. Aliens, you also
A probe.
Explanation here.
You know what? I just hearing you say that, it should have been a tell for all of us when Baker was talking about seeing some sort of UFO. Remember
Fair
that?
point.
We
I
just
do.
looked the other
Oh
way.
my goodness,
Why
the
didn't
other
we
way.
pounce on that as much as we should? In retrospect,
it was looking crazy.
that failed the crazy test. Do you believe in aliens? Yes, no.
I believe in the possibility of life somewhere in the great abyss.
100%.
There's probably some life somewhere, but it's microorganisms.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in like people that look like lizards or like.
Yeah,
what we
I'm with you,
think,
though.
I don't believe in
it's
anything.
kind of a bit pompous of us to think that in this huge, expansive universe,
Right.
of which we don't even know what exists out there, that there isn't the perfect scenario of a huge star
Right.
and a planet
Somewhere else.
perfectly positioned to where it can sustain life.
Right.
We're just now getting our first images of space that don't look like they were taken on a 1998 flip phone.
Yeah, true.
So it's going to take a little while, guys. We just invented radio like 100 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And we're
That's
just
true.
like, why aren't we catching aliens yet?
do we have
We're
to go
slow
at 110
technology.
hard out?
We do. We got 110 hard
Okay,
out.
so
Yes,
I've got
sir.
50 seconds. My final take, I'll just condense it. Progressive Field, bye-bye. I want Jacobs Field back.
Bring
I
it
do.
back.
I mean, I sort of stumbled upon that earlier.
Yeah.
It needs to be the Jake again. I know that the Guardians are, they're struggling to get the fan base back. Rename it the Jake. Take the hit on whatever the naming rights are. I don't care what it is. The Jake. Tomorrow's show.
Take it.
Man, does it get any better than the only two-time Heisman Trophy winner ever? Archie Griffin, the great Archie Griffin, number 45, will join us on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. That is in exactly 22 hours from now. Enjoy your break. We will see you at 11 a.m. tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. See ya.
Bye, everybody.
8 seconds to spare, Mikey.
Boom.
When